Hello, everybody. Well, excuse me, we're off to a rough start already. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Well, not necessarily back. If you're not aware of my other channel, then yeah, you probably you're not back. But anyway, welcome to the first live stream on this channel. So what I'm referring to is I have another channel where I review whiskey. You may have seen me, you may not have. I am Sean. I am also Whiskey Wars, Whiskey Cowboy, Metal Cowboy, whatever you want to call me. Doesn't much matter. Anyway, tonight, though, it's all about metal. So that's what we're going to be discussing. Primarily Metallica, obviously, Metallica. So, first off, got to clear the throat here, sanitize it, whatever. Got some brown liquid here, the devil's juice. Let's get a sip here. That is good. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to be going through some Metallica tonight, comparing Lux AEterna, Metallica's newest release, to some of their old stuff that maybe you haven't heard, maybe you have. Some of their lesser-known tracks, though, is what we're going to be doing. Comparing Lux AEterna to some of the tracks that didn't get a lot of play off of their older albums. So, yeah, in any case, welcome all that are here watching. Hope you guys enjoy the show. So what this channel will be is we will go through metal, hard rock, heavy metal, various kinds of music. Eventually, hopefully, we'll get to the point where you guys in the community can choose what we go through. But until then, I will kind of be doing the picking. So, yeah, so we're going to be going through various stuff, comparing various artists, sometimes comparing the artists to themselves, sometimes, and also enjoying, some fine alcoholic beverages as well. So tonight we're drinking a variety of whiskeys from Texas. I thought, the dark, bold richness of Texas bourbon went well with the dark boldness of Metallica. So, yeah. And all you guys really need to know about me that don't know me already is that I love heavy metal, whiskey, and even heavier metal. So there we go. Let's go ahead and get into this, though. Not sure how many we got viewing, but in any case, we're going to go ahead and start this show here. Looks like we got a couple in viewing. So if you want to drop comments on your thoughts on Lux AEterna, if you have listened to it already. If not, we're going to be listening to it together here in just a second. But either way, drop your comments if you have listened to it already. I'm curious, everybody's thoughts on the new song. How do you think it stacks up to some of Metallica's old stuff? Yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and share this here. Let's see, we want this layout. Present. Share screen, and we're going to, there we go. That's what we want there. That's the thing. Let's go ahead and get into this here. Okay, got the opening riff there. Good stuff so far. James doing his thing. Lars banging away on the drums. Robert slapping the bass. And of course, Kirk ripping it up on the main. Lead guitar there, just killing it. Okay. Got to get into our first pause here. All right, so that was opening riff there of Lux AEterna. For those of you that have not heard it before, what do we think? What do we think of that opening riff there? Pretty fast for modern Metallica. Kind of getting back to the roots, maybe. Thoughts, though, everyone watching. What do we think of that opening riff? Because we're gonna be kind of breaking down each song that we go through, kind of comparing them. So we're gonna compare opening riffs, lyrics, solos, all that kind of stuff, drum work, bass work, all the various parts that make up a good Metallica song. So what do we think of that opening riff? Does it suck? Is it good? Is it okay? What are the thoughts? I think the opening riff to this song is pretty decent. Not my favorite from Metallica by any means, but decent for sure. But now we're going to get into the lyrics. And yeah, well, let's just get into it. Here we go. Let's get back to it here. Get back to, yeah, let's just, here we go. Okay. There was the chorus there. All right. Before we get into chorus number 2, got to talk about let's see here. What do we got? We got the mash bill here. What's up, buddy? Extreme Reach to pre-Black Metallica. Yeah, I think the riff wise, we're certainly getting there. So here's one issue, and I'm not going to insert my thoughts a whole lot as we go through this, but so James has always done this to some degree, but this like just rhyming words, he's just kind of spitting out words that rhyme. They don't necessarily follow a theme. And I think this is a really good example of some James rhymes that don't necessarily follow a theme or really fit the feel of the song. They're just kind of words that rhyme. And that kind of drives me crazy. I mean, he's done it in a lot of different songs. I mean, even way back to Blackened on Injustice for All, he does this a little bit, but I think it works better there. I don't love it here. But anyway, want to know everybody else's thoughts so far, and we'll get back to it here. Keep on listening to Lux AEterna. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Here we go. Kurt's taking over. All right, so there was the solo. Yeah, so this is another gripe of mine with this song. The dog is joining us. He's bumping the table and everything. So everybody here so far, I believe, already knows who this is. But if we can get you to look up here, look at everybody here. Here's Cerberus. Let me take down the comment from Stanley in Nashville there. Yeah, so here's Cerberus joining us. What's up, buddy? Yeah, so... but anyway, back to the solo, though. The solo, I don't know. I don't love it. I love Kirk as a guitarist, but this is not a favorite solo of mine from him. I don't know. I thought it was lacking. It's very hard to hear in this recording, this live recording. I wish they would have turned him up a little bit better so we could hear Kirk's solo, but I think that version was better than the album version, but still not amazing. Yeah, want to know what all you guys think about it, that solo, and just the song in general. Let's see here. We got Whiskey Foodoo. Cheers to you as well, Paul. Cheers, buddy. Good to see you. Jack, what's up, man? Cheers, man. Good to see you. To be honest, never been a huge Metallica fan. I know that probably sounds blasphemy to some. Well, me, but that's okay. I love you anyway, Jacob. Cheers. You had Mashville and Whiskey Foodoo. Cheers. What's up, guys? I like the older stuff between Ride the Lightning and Just for All. Yeah, I'm with you as well, but don't listen to a lot of newer stuff. Yeah, I agree. That's kind of the golden age of Metallica between Kill 'Em All and Black. I think Black was kind of the downturn into where we are now. I think for me, like Justice was like the peak. and then it just like a peak on a mountain, then it just started going down pretty rapidly, actually. So Black was a slight downturn, and then it just dropped off a cliff with load, and then just straight into the abyss of hell on reload. So yeah, but anyway, we're gonna get to some of that stuff later. Yeah, sounds like Hammett phoned it in. I agree, Stanley. It's not a great solo. It's I don't like the sliding that he does. And I don't mind. I love slide guitar even. I just don't like the way he does it in this solo. It doesn't work for me. The solo does sound like a hot mess. I agree. It's kind of all over the place. I don't like the sliding. It's just, yeah, it's not great. It's not great. Anyway, let's get back to it here. Let the boys finish up, and we'll talk more about Lux AEterna. James wearing some cool boots. Got to point that out. Cool boots, wearing James. All right, good stuff. Just real quick, got to interrupt again. Have to notice that the drum work not nearly as aggressive sounding as it is on the album. On the album, you really notice those double kick drums going. So there's a lot of speculation as to how they got that sound on the album. Because we just go back there, we'll just go back it up just a little bit there and watch Lars working there. Not nearly the speed that we hear on the album. Let's just go through one more time. Yeah, you can kind of see the kick drums going there. Not a lot of speed there from Lars. Not nearly what we hear on the album for sure. But anyway. That's a whole nother thing. Lars has a history of, editing albums so that his drums sound awesome, and sometimes you can't hear bass because of it. Anyway, Lars, everybody. 4 Leaf Whiskey, cheers, Stacy. How are you? Good to see you. Cheers to you as well. The song sounds like it was produced rushed. That's possible. Although they had a long hiatus to do this, so I don't know. Who's to say? Maybe they had some kind of time frame that they had to get this out in, and they needed a single, and this was it. I don't know. I feel like Kirk definitely just threw together the solo last minute. It was just kind of like whatever happened in the studio that day was the solo. But anyway, let's get back to it here. Also, since basically we just got whiskey people in chat, what are we drinking, if anything? I know it is a, Tuesday night, but if you get some in your glass, what are we drinking? All right, back to this Lux AEterna. Now that's like about the end of it, but they got more coming here for us. Kirk doing a little riffing there at the end. That's cool. And okay, so that's basically it. Okay, so that's Lux AEterna. For anyone that has not seen it, heard it before, there you go, Lux AEterna. I will say James still sounds pretty great. I don't necessarily love the lyrics, but James does sound pretty good, considering he's 61, 62. So and as we know, as you age, so do your vocal cords, and you kind of lose stuff. But James sound pretty good for being 61, 62, whatever he is. Good Good on James. I wish the lyrics were different. But anyway, just water for Jack. Still dealing with my stuff, so I'm trying to keep it cool. Okay, no problem, man. All right, so now we're going to compare it to, I'm going to stop sharing that and start sharing a new song. Not new at all, actually a very old song. One of Metallica's oldest songs. But wanted to compare it, and I didn't want to put it up against like some of the big names from Metallica. Instead, we are going to do some songs that got less play, let's say. Yeah, so this is off of Ride the Lightning. To me, this is, in like Metallica's prime. Ride the Lightning, Master of Puppets, and Justice are, to me, my three favorite Metallica albums, and some of the better metal albums to ever exist, in my opinion. You can fight me on that. Anyway, so this Trapped Under Ice, here we go. Another kind of fast song from Ride the Lightning, which in general is a pretty fast album. This is back when Metallica was definitely thrash. So here we go. And this is from 2021. So actually, it sounds like that's a little low. Well, let's see here. What do we got going on? Yeah, there we go. Let's turn that up a little bit. Hard to metal to pedal when you do it so well. I suppose so, yeah. We're going to make this a little bigger. We're going to do this here. Okay. I just want to say, so right off the bat, just from the intro already, Kurt is already on a different level compared to what we just saw in Lux AEterna. Even though this is only a year ago, but he's playing old stuff, old riffs that he wrote a long time ago. Yeah, back when Kirk was just killing it. So anyway, already liking the intro better. Curious your guys' thoughts, though, comparing the two, Trapped Under Ice to Lux AEterna. Now, Lux AEterna was a single. Trapped Under Ice was never a single. Kind of an unknown song, unless you're a Metallica fan. So, yeah. In fact, I looked it up on Spotify. Now, this is after, let's see, this was released in 86, 84, something like that. Even in that amount of time, we're talking almost 40 years. It's only got 31 million listens. Lux AEterna already has 12 million. It's been out of like a month. So, yeah, anyway, back to Trapped Under Ice. Yeah, Kirk's just killing it. Got to pause real quick. To me, that is my favorite Metallica emblem, insignia, whatever you want to call it there. That like platinum colored Metallica lettering with the lightning around it. I used to have a shirt like that I wore out. So this is the only Metallica shirt I have left. I actually have had this shirt since high school. Here, let me switch screens around here so you can see it a little bit. Yeah, there we go. Had this Metallica shirt since high school, and it still fits. It's a little tight, but whatever. Yeah, but I used to have the Ride the Lightning Metallica shirt, but it wore out. Yeah, it basically fell apart from washing so many times. Anyway, back to Trapped Under Ice, though. What are you guys' thoughts, though, on just comparing the two? And also, have you heard both of these songs before? All that kind of stuff. Have you listened to Taipei Houston? That's Lars Sun's band. I have not. I don't mind old riffs. Okay. Under Ice is way better. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, Trapped Under Ice is a far better song than Lux AEterna, in my opinion. I mean, it's just, it's Metallica back when they were amazing. Yeah, so, and this is a B-side of the album song that got zero radio play at all. So, yeah. To make them big again. James still sounding good here as well, though, I gotta say. Rocking the Flying V. Good stuff. Oh, get it, Kirk. Oh man. So let's talk about that solo compared to the last one. That was so good. That was so good comparatively. Also, what's up, Northwest Bourbon? Mark, what's up, buddy? Good to see you. Whiskey Food Dude saying classic Metallica emblem is one of the baddest emblems in the music business. Indeed. Love it so much. Love my shirt. I need to get another one. I need to replace that shirt. Miss that shirt a lot. Yeah, so just comparing those two solos we've listened to so far, what are you thinking, folks? I think you guys already know my opinion. But yeah, personally, I think that solo we just heard in Trapped Under Ice is quite a bit better. Not quite the mess that the last one was. But yeah, share your thoughts. Let's keep going here. James, the down picking master. And that's just like chugging riff. It's so heavy and good.
Trapped Under Ice, baby. There's the beginnings of Metallica.
Indeed it was. Yeah, so originally I thought about doing something off of Kill 'Em All, but that wouldn't really be fair because that's all Dave Mustaine, and I didn't want to do Dave Mustaine versus Kirk tonight. That'll be another time. We'll talk Mustaine versus Kirk Hammett another night. Yeah, the new song sounded so Rush produced like they made everyone get together on the last weekend they could do it. Yeah, I mean, maybe so. I mean, it's weird, though, because they've been on, like, what? They've been on hiatus since, so they did that S&M too, but, I mean, that's all old material, basically. So, I mean, this is the first new material since, what is it? Something to self-destruct. Anyway, whatever it is. Yeah. That was their last full studio album, and that was what, like 12 years ago, something like that. Stanley Mashbell, I bet he remembers. He knows all these kind of facts. Anyway, yeah. So, yeah, I'm partial to Trapped Under Ice so far, but now we'll keep moving along. Another kind of lesser known Metallica song, I would say, but also a good one in my opinion, is off of, well, let's, if I can get it, find the thing. There we go. There it is. Okay. So this is Damage Inc. live off of Master of Puppets, which, you know, maybe, you know, well, we missed some stuff there. Let's back it up. Okay, so Mashbell's saying 6 years. Okay, fair enough. It felt longer. Yeah, so now some people consider Master Puppets Metallica's greatest album. Curious everybody's thoughts. Not my favorite, but it's certainly a great, great album. Another fast song here from Metallica. This is another B-side track. See, when is this from? This was 10 years ago in Quebec. This was on the Death Magnetic Tour. Oh, what'd I do? Move the screen, my bad. Oh, that riff right there is so good. James really getting into it there. You'll know just where we come from. Man, that's good. Still going, still going. All right, yeah, so solo over. A far longer solo than anything we've heard so far. And, you know, I love that solo on Damage Inc. I think it's kind of underrated in the Metallica catalog. A great solo for sure. Yeah, what do we think, folks? Does it stack up to the fantastic solo that was in Lux AEterna? You know, that's the real question here. What do we think? Yeah. So Mashbell's saying that program. What is it? I want to say program to self-destruct, but that doesn't seem right. It's something else to self-destruct. What the hell is the thing? It is hardwired. That's what it is. Hardwired to self-destruct. I knew program was wrong. Although Hardwired is kind of, anyway, whatever. Yeah, so then there was S&M 2. Well, no, wait a second here. Yeah, so Hardwired, yeah, 2016. S&M 2 was 2020. But, yeah. Anyway. So, Master of Puppets, very iconic indeed. Indeed it is. And way better than the new song. Also agreed on that as well. That solo from Kirk is just awesome. Yeah, he's a beast. But anyway, I need to pour something else here. Let's see. So already drank. I'm comparing the Balcones, trying to narrow down whiskeys of the year here. So already drank the Texas High Rye Bourbon. Yeah, so now we're moving on to the True Blue Cask Strengths. Let's get a little bit of this going here. Drinking lightly tonight because, work tomorrow and all that good stuff. But yeah, trying to decide which of the Texas stuff I'm liking best. Let's get back to some Metallica, though. And Jacob, actually, let me pause real quick. So, Jacob, I know you're a big Sepultura fan. We might have to have a Sepultura. Actually, who would you say is a good versus? Like Sepultura versus who? If you want to drop in the comments who you think would be, up for the challenge of taking on Sepultura, similar genre, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Anyway, let's get back to some Damage Inc. Sepultura versus Meshuggah. Okay, so like old school versus new school. Alrighty. And we got the flames going. Lars is sweating. Yeah, so there you go. Damage Inc. No videos for you, YouTube. Yeah, so in my opinion, probably my favorite of what we've played so far. I do love Damage Inc. I think it's a great song that does get a lot of play. I mean, clearly. So Damage Inc. So far we had Trapped Under Ice at 31.5 million listens on Spotify. Damage Inc. 32 million, so just a little more there. And really all of the songs we're going to play tonight, pretty low listens on Spotify. I was just kind of wrote them down here just for reference. And again, Lux AEterna already at 12 million and only been out like a month. So anyway, yeah, so guys going forward, guys, gals, anyone watching and right now or in the future. Also, guys, if you're liking this kind of stuff, you don't mind subbing to this channel. I'm trying to grow it to 1,000 as well and get this thing monetized, if at all possible. So yeah, if you don't mind dropping a sub, that'd be great. I'm going to be doing more stuff like this on this channel. That way I'm not mixing the two contents together on Whiskey Wars. I'm going to try and keep Whiskey Wars whiskey related and this more music related. So here we go. So you should do old Judas Priest versus new. The Firepower album might beat Rock and Roll. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate that, man. Thank you, sir. Yeah, cool, man. Glad you like it. Hopefully it grows, and hopefully we have a community here as well. Because I think going forward, I want to do more of this. What will probably end up happening is I will, if this channel does grow, I will probably blend the two Patreons because I don't really have any music related stuff to give away. So the giveaways will basically be the same. It'll continue to be whiskey related giveaways. And because I don't want to like have 2 Patreons and all that nonsense. But I want to do more like rock and just music related stuff instead of just talking whiskey and just listening to music more and hanging out with you guys and talking music with you guys and what your interests are and all that kind of stuff. So so hopefully this starts drawing more folks over, and hopefully we can have a pretty good conversation music wise as well. So anyway, let's get back to some more Metallica here. Now this is off of Injustice for All, probably my favorite Metallica album. I know I get crap for it all the time because they're like, oh, there's no bass on that album, which, you know, sure there wasn't originally, but now with the remaster, it's not so bad. You know, Stan Leonofsky's still here, but he gives me crap about it all the time. But I love Injustice for All very much. Probably my favorite Metallica album. It's either that or Ride the Lightning. I go back and forth. But anyway, so here we go. Dyer's Eve, another B-side song from Metallica. It's just so freaking heavy. And now there's a little kid jamming out beside Lars.
Yes, for all our friends in St. Germany.
All right, so this was 2004 in Munich, Germany. James playing like a Les Paul style guitar there. It's not a Les Paul because what does he actually play? Metal horns, throw them up. Heck yeah. Then we got Love and Justice for All. Heck yeah. Maybe the fastest song of the night here. Dyer's Eve. Just thrash goodness.
Dear mother, dear father, what is this of you have put me through me legally? Day and day I live my life to you, pushed on anyone's fall right, bringing back this thing that they call life. Dear mother, dear father.
Does seem like everyone has lost a step or so in 18 years. You definitely, when you look at the new recordings, the new lives. Lars certainly seems a little faster here. Everybody's just a little faster, you know, taking it a step up. Maybe not quite to 11, but certainly, you know, pushing the limits of speed here in this one. Faster than I think anything we've seen tonight so far, which is interesting because the album version of Lux AEterna sounds really fast, but when you listen to some of their older stuff, you realize it's not really that fast. This is a pretty fast song here.
Innocence, torn from me without your shelter. But reality, I'm living by
Oh, so good.
Dear mother, dear father, Thomas losing still what's left to me. Nothing, say nothing. Can I face the fact I think for me no ability is not that is. Tell me if you're not giving me my chance. Dear mother, dear father, to my wings before I heard You don't sense, talk for me, run out your shelter. By reality, I'm living my life. Alright.
Just real quick, I wanted to ask, is everybody familiar with this song? Does everybody know Dyer's Eve? And actually, since we're kind of we got one more song after this, but I'm curious what you guys have liked the best so far tonight of the songs we played, because these are all kind of lesser known Metallica tracks. Yeah, so curious what you guys are liking the best. They're enjoying playing this song. You can see the depth. Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, they're into it. You can tell. I mean, it's just, and they're kicking ass. I mean, they're just ripping this song apart. It's freaking awesome. I mean, Robert's just jamming out on the bass, and James doing his thing. The down-picking god, just down-picking the crap out of that guitar. Lars is killing it. And here comes Kirk. Why are they not showing Kirk? There we go. There he is. Apparently the camera people really did not like Kirk for some reason. We're only getting a back shot of Kirk. Interesting. Oh, that transition right there. Ah, it's so good. What is up? David. Listen to metal and drinking whiskey, man.
Dear mama, dear father, he didn't bend your boat you made for me. You think I'm bleeding. Ripping wounds in me that never heal. Undiced, but I feel for you. Living everything you always do.
God, I love that riff.
Dyer's Eve, my friends. Thank you.
Hell yes. Yeah, so David, you may know me by another name, but over here I'm the Metal Cowboy. What's up, man? How we doing? Welcome. Yeah, cheers, buddy. Good to see you. If you're sipping on something, let us know what it is. I just finished off some Cast Strength True Blue whiskey here from Balcones. Pretty good stuff. Dark bourbon to go with our dark theme tonight, listening to Metallica. Yeah, so guys, thoughts on Dyer's Eve, and where would you place it so far in the songs we have listened to thus far? Favorite, least favorite? What are you thinking? Jack saying, I can definitely appreciate the speedy Metallica more than the others. I can dig the speed metal. Yeah, man. I mean, that's why, like, to me, like, Lightning, Puppets, and Justice, like, those three albums are just magical. Of course, the Dyer's Eve, they're off of Injustice for All. Yeah, just as I've said before on 21090 and other places, if all Metallica ever did was put out from Kill 'Em all the way to Black Album, those 5 albums, in my opinion, they would still be the greatest metal band to ever do it. And yeah, I mean, when you look at that catalog of those 5 albums, the singles that came off of them, and just the impact on the metal world, bringing metal into like the limelight to the public. I mean, because really before that, metal was pretty underground. I mean, you know, Ozzy had some hits that kind of made some radio play, but thrash metal was certainly underground before Metallica, and really just really heavy stuff was underground because, you know, Ozzy may be the grandfather of metal, and hopefully he's recovering from his current illnesses. But without Metallica, metal would not be where it is today. So, Ken, what is up? Scotch Down Under here. What's up, buddy? How we doing? Ken, are you a metalhead? In general, what are you listening to on the daily? And then we got sipping some Woodford's Masters Collection batch proof. Oh, the 118.4. I had a sample of that from Jacob there. Pretty good stuff. I'm moving along to my last pour of the night here. For anyone just tuning in now, I am comparing all of my cast strength Balcones picks that I have. Now, they're all very different because they're all different stuff. I had the High Rye Bourbon first. Then I had the True Blue cast strength. That's a single barrel, straight corn whiskey. And now I'm moving on to the single malt single barrel. So, yeah. But anyway, we're going to get to our, there you go, Metal for Life. I like it. Good stuff, man. Cheers to you, Ken. Now, let me properly cheers here. Let me roll this thing around the glass here. This single malt from Balcones. If you guys don't like Texas whiskey, you should give the single malt from Balcones a try. It's a whole different thing. It's so freaking good. Well, let's get a sip here. And cheers to everybody. But let's get to the last song of the night. Now, this may surprise you guys. There is a decent song off of Reload, which in general is one of my least favorite albums from Metallica. I don't know if it's their worst because, Saint Anger exists. So Saint Anger will probably always be, well, there's also Lulu. Lulu might be the worst, and then Saint Anger, because at least Saint Anger is a rock album. And then after that would probably be Reload for me, as far as least favorite Metallica albums. But that said, I think this is a decent song off of the Reload album. But, you guys decide for yourself. Not quite the speed metal that we were listening to here recently. Certainly not as thrashy. But I think it's still a pretty good song. A little on the longer side. But here we go. Let's get into it. And I have not had the Black and Willet, Jacob. I love this opening riff so much. So bluesy and heavy blues. It's good stuff. Realize this is recorded off of a phone. That might be a problem. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, you can't hear James at all. Okay, let's sorry folks. Let's get you guys another version here. Let's do a quick search. Let's get a proper version of the song. Let's see here. Well, I guess we're just gonna have to do a non-live. Anyway,
why should you tap learn
more now we're listening to
the free Kentucky Solar Home Survey.
We got a Green
question.
Energy Group
Listen
ad.
up.
Perfect. No. Okay, here we go. Skip ahead. There we go. Okay. Sorry about that, folks. I didn't realize there was a crappy recording. Let's try again, shall we? Yeah, so now I personally think it's more akin to like a Hendrix, like Red House kind of style vibe or something like that. Maybe some more recent Buddy Guy. But man, I love that opening riff. Oh, it's so good. You got that kind of like that weird, like ambient, kind of crazy, like sounds like you're in a horror movie. Sounds going in the background. With that just heavy blues. to me, this is the best song on Reload. But, you guys let me know your thoughts. Curious what you guys think. Okay, let me pause. Now, granted, certainly not as heavy as the old stuff, because it's when it was Reload released, way after the old albums. We're talking, at least a decade. Let's see. So Black came out. Where is it? I think Black came out in 90, 91, and then Reload was 97, which was basically a decade after Justice, which to me is like the peak of Metallica. So to your question, though, Ken, what I listen to on the daily varies. I have a bunch of different playlists on Spotify. So I listen to everything from metal, obviously, various kinds of metal, pretty much anything in the metal genre, whether it be speed, thrash, metalcore, a little bit of death metal, but not much, groove metal, Pantera and like Five Finger Death Punch, guys like that. Of course, lots of thrash metal. Big Metallica, Megadeth fan, some Slayer in there. But then outside of metal, also listening to some country, some folk, and some artists that are kind of, it's hard to describe them because they do a variety of things. So sometimes they're sort of country, sometimes they're kind of blues, sometimes they're more like folk style. So artists is probably easier to list off. So like Tyler Childers is probably, most people would just call him country, but sometimes he does blues stuff. Whiskey Myers, kind of similar. Also Sean James, not necessarily country, but I don't know what you would qualify him as, but listen to a lot of him. Jamie Johnson, also definitely usually in the country world. But then also I have a whole classical music playlist when I need to just kind of chill and, calm down, whatever. Yeah. So classical, country, folk, blues. I got a whole blues playlist as well of old blues and stuff like that. And then I got a whole metal playlist, rock playlist. Yeah, so I listen to quite a bit of stuff. The only thing I'm not anything like pop at all, like bro country, pop, any rock that's kind of poppy, I don't care about. Yeah. If it's just produced to make money, I don't give a crap about it. Lou, what's up, brother? Cheers to you, man. Good to see you. We're just in our last Metallica song of the evening, but hey, you still made it, man. Appreciate you. I would say not the best of the group we played tonight, but certainly worth a listen, I think. But thanks for hanging out, man. And I am drinking some Balcones single malt, which is pretty amazing. And I kind of knew going in, but it is clearly my favorite of the three. So that will probably be in my whiskey of the year list. We'll see how it goes. Got a lot of whiskeys to compare this year. Anyway, let's get back to some Metallica here. Fixer from Metallica off of Reload.
Only you can tell it time. If we fall off in the but tell me, can you heal what father's done? Fix this hole and our mother's son. Can you heal the broken world within? Can you strip away so we may start again? Tell me, can you heal what father's done? Cut this rope and let us run. Just when all seems fine and I'm praying
You know, I sorry to interrupt again, guys, but I love James' vocals in this song. I love the whole theme of like, you know, being like a voodoo doll and just people jabbing pins in you and, you know, taking advantage of you and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just I like it. I like the vibe of this song. I'm curious what you guys think. If you've never heard this before, what you guys think of this song off of Reload. Do you think it sucks like the rest of the album? Or, yeah, what are your thoughts? Nice, Sean. You get a wide range of taste from classical to heavy metal. Yeah, man, I listen to a lot of stuff. Also, just sometimes some, like, really old school rock, like Beatles and old classic Stones, and even got some, like, the early days of rock and roll, like Little Richard and James Brown and kind of the godfathers of what became rock and roll. Not Elvis. Elvis is not the king of rock and roll. There was a lot of black gentlemen that were playing rock and roll before Elvis even thought about it. Anyway. Yeah, let's see here. I just watched Nothing Else Matters, Metallica soul cover by Robin Adele Anderson before the stream. Oh, interesting. I'll have to check that out, man. That sounds cool. Here we go. We got a guest here to talk some metal with me. What is up, Stanley? How we doing, man?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound good.
Okay. Just working off of a tablet because I just got home and didn't have enough time to set up before you said you were getting ready to get off of the stream. So.
Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, I'll be on for a little while longer. I'm going to go till about 11.
All right. Well, let's see. What has Sean gotten wrong so far?
Oh, probably everything.
No. Okay. So this Lux AEterna thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a good word for it.
Now, Metallica has been on hiatus since 2014. They actually have been on tour since 2016, other than some small spurts when James went into rehab, which is when some of these songs that are going to be coming out over the next few months were written. So that'd be about a year and a half or so ago. But they've been continuously on tour. They actually just did a date 2 weeks ago. Prior to that, it was like 3 or 4 weeks before that. The end of August was the end of their European tour. They were still touring on Hardwired. So they toured for almost 6 years on Hardwired, and then they did it. Well, part of it was also the anniversary of like every single album hitting like freaking 30 years, I think it was.
They did Justice 40th. When was that? Or no, it was 40 years of Metallica. That was What was that? 2020? No, 20.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Anyway.
So yeah, they haven't really been on a hiatus, and I
meant hiatus from making albums, Stanley. Not
right. They've been
being Metallica.
Yeah, so 2016 was the last time they made a real album, a studio album. I think myself personally, I think that this could be the last Metallica album that Kirk Hammett's involved in. I think he's, if you can't tell by that song, I do think he's phoning it in, and he's got a lot of other interests in the horror genre and movies and writing books and stuff that he's more involved in.
Also hiking and growing gardens, man. Yeah. So.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's ready. The man's 60. The man's actually he's 50. I want to say he's the youngest of them. Robert's the youngest. Yeah. I think Robert's the youngest, but Kurt's still like 56 or 57 or something like that.
He's the youngest of the original. Well, not original, because you know what I mean, like the original-ish crew. Yeah. But still not young by any means. Yeah. So Lars is the oldest, right? He's 62, and then James like 61.
Yeah,
and then Kurt's like 57.
And James still sounds James sounds good. I mean, freaking,
he does, man.
You can't doubt that he can't sing because he can. I think that this was. I think this was the okay. So Hardwired, for the album that it
I think it's a decent album.
was a good return album to like older style Metallica, not the old Metallica, but older style Metallica.
Yeah.
I think what the problem is with Metallica fans, like real true fans, is that they're in two different camps. They're either pre-Black Album or post-Black Album. And
That's
the
probably
other
fair.
thing is too is that you get this dichotomy between the two, where if you are a fan of the first four albums, and then you kind of are still a fan of the fifth album, but of the Black Album, but it's not. It's the fifth. It's the fifth in line compared to the first four.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
which is the correct answer.
Right. You know every word to every song on the first five albums. Because every song that's on the first five albums is rememberable because they're all slightly different from each other, and the lyrics punch you in the face. After the Black Album, they started doing too many freaking covers. They started doing after Binge and Purge, after that whole live album, which everybody thought was amazing, which it was really awesome, especially with the Queen covers and the stuff like that.
Yeah.
When they start doing a little bit more covers, bringing back Garage Days and stuff like that. But the albums afterwards,
just real quick on that, Stellar, before you move on, I think Garage is a great album. I know it's all covers, and I know a lot of people gave Metallica a lot of crap about it. But I mean, to me, it's like, it's just like this. So we're all hanging out, enjoying music that we enjoy. Well, to me, this is like one of my favorite bands' favorite songs, which I think is cool. Like to see what they're into, what their influences were, clearly what they were listening to when they were young. I dig that. I dig the whole vibe of Garage, and I think there's some killer songs on there.
the first Garage album, the EP, was freaking awesome because it had like Crash Course in Brain Surgery, Last Caress, stuff like that. But when they did Garage Incorporated, that whole album with Die My Darling and You Ain't My Bitch and some of these other songs that were on there, it was just awesome to hear them do a whole, like, they were just saying, screw it, we're gonna put out a cover album.
Yeah.
It's a 2 LP cover album, or a 22 or whatever song it is. You don't like it, go suck a dick, whatever.
The
thing is that Load, Reload, Death Magnetic, Saint Anger, even Hardwired. The problem with those albums is you can't. Most people, even the hardcore Metallica fans, can't name 5 songs off those albums. But the real hardcore Metallica day one guys can name every song or know the words to every single song for the first 5 albums.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I threw this one in there, because I tend to fall in that camp, and I've tried to, in recent years, I've tried to go back through the more recent catalog and try and find some gems and albums that I don't love. And I think this is a decent song. I think Fixer off of Reload is actually a decent song. It's not, it's not the old days for sure, but I think it is a good song. Real quick, Bourbon Neophyte Anthony here. Hey, this doesn't appear on YouTube. Had to grab my phone. Well, first off, this is a different channel, Anthony, so that's probably partly why. Because before tonight, probably nobody knew this channel existed. And
700 people did, because you have 700 subscribers.
Oh, well, sweet. So this channel has existed. Let me explain. So this channel has existed for a long time. So I first made content on this channel just kind of because I was bored. This was 12 years ago. I made a bunch of Buckethead videos because I was a huge Buckethead fan back then. And the videos, honestly, are crap. I just threw some pictures over Buckethead songs and threw some words up and made some Buckethead list videos. And anyway, you guys can go watch them if you want. They're not fantastic. But anyway, so then I got back into this whole YouTube thing with Whiskey Tube, obviously, which is how I met all you wonderful people. And then I had one of my videos from this channel pop up on my main account, Whiskey Wars. Like I was looking through Buckethead stuff again, and like one of my videos came up, and I was like, "What the heck?" So then I looked at the views, and it had like over 100,000 views. I was like, "How in the hell?" So then I find the channel, and then I find out that one of the videos, one of these crappy videos I made 12 years ago, has nearly 1 million views. And then I look, and I have like nearly at that. This was like 6-8 months ago. I had like nearly like 650 subs back then. Granted, this channel grows very slow because I haven't put out any content in 12 years. And so I've always wanted to do a music channel. I mean, me and Stanley, we've done a couple lives together where we talk music. And of course, I'm always hanging out with the 21090 guys because of all the music interest there. And so I thought, well, I got this channel. It's already kind of a music-based channel. I kind of know what I'm doing in YouTube now to at least a small degree. Maybe I can do something with this. And so that's kind of the plan, is that this will be, and this is all I'm really going to do. I'm just going to do music-related lives. I'll still drink whiskey and hang out with you guys like we always do. We're just going to talk more music stuff than whiskey because, if I'm honest, I'm kind of tired of talking whiskey all the time. I mean, I love it. Clearly, that's why I have it all. But I want to talk more stuff and primarily music. So,
Right.
Yeah. So,
No, I understand. I'm kind of getting that because there's so many. Okay, that's what I was just talking to Scott Pigsley about the other night. Was that I don't need to do the pub style on my channel because there's so many people doing pub styles now.
Yeah.
I don't really need to host a lot of lives. If someone's not going to go on and nobody's going, I'll go. But outside of that, I really don't need to do that anymore because there's so many people that are going live and so many other people that want to go live. So I don't need to do that anymore. So I need to focus on content, like on real content. And my real content is more whiskey and more music related to me. It's what I need to get back into, is doing the music a little bit more heavier, and just talk a little bit about whiskey, but more towards the music side of it. Because like today, I spent a large part of the day looking up albums from the week I was born, or from the month I was born in 1969, and then I started looking farther into the top 25 albums released in 1969, and realizing that it could have literally been one of the best years in rock and roll, because like Led Zeppelin 1 and 2 was released in 69. I mean, there's a bunch of, I can go on for hours of what I found today, but
also a great year for classic cars. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff out there that I'm really super interested in. I really want to get into how country music has been taken over by rock over the last couple years with the Sturgill Simpsons, and people are like, "Oh, well, he's not really rock." If you listen to it, that guy's as close to some of those guys are getting as close to Leonard Skinner and staying country as they possibly can.
Oh yeah, I mean, so like a lot of the stuff I'm into these days is like, I mean, it's really Southern rock. It's not really country anymore. I mean, so like a lot of the stuff like Tyler Childers, Whiskey Myers, some of the stuff that Sean James does. Was it Cody Jinks? I think there's another like Kobe Mars. Like all these guys. I mean, they even have guys from the rock world, do songs with them. So it's kind of this blend.
And the thing is funny is I had an argument with a guy at work that was talking about these kind of country music, these with the Sturgill Simpsons and the freaking the Jamie Johnsons and the freaking what do you call it, whiskey Tennessee whiskey guy, Chris Stapleton and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, he's more like blues rock, but yeah.
Right, and I told him, I said, you know who started that whole thing within the last, like, say, 5 or 6 years? Who started that whole thing? And he's like, what? I said, Brantley Gilbert. And he goes, bullshit. I said, no. Before Stapleton got big, before freaking all these other guys started getting any airplay, Brantley Gilbert was already playing rock country. I mean, you can argue that freaking Kid Rock did it too, but freaking the true country artist who went more rock and then in his country was Brantley Gilbert. And freaking after that, people started opening their eyes to a little bit of this more, what do you call it? I want to call it more down homeboy freaking country / rock.
Yeah.
And now,
I mean,
like I said,
I think there's been
Whiskey Myers is everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think that there's been a lot of artists that have kind of done it along the way. It's just that I don't think any one artist has made that kind of their genre, that kind of rock country. And now you're seeing a lot more of that. That's just they're kind of in that lane, and that's what they do. But anyway, I want to get to some comments here. So Scott Center Ken saying Parkway Drive, Hugh, Ammon,
Amonamarth.
Yeah. Okay, and then Sabaton, Sign, Five Finger, etc. Okay, so that's what Ken is listening to. Good stuff, man. Some favorites of mine on there. I don't know the one that Stanley said that I can't pronounce.
Monomarth. It's Viking metal. It's a very interesting style of metal, but it's also one of the best freaking live shows I've ever seen. They got like Vikings fighting with freaking swords and shit on stage while they're singing, and it's freaking. They got a big Viking ship and stuff like that on stage. It's freaking pretty awesome.
Then we got Jack saying he digs Gojira too. Okay, there you go. Yeah, I'm aware of Gojira. Good stuff. Well, we know which camp Stanley is in. I mean, so let's get back to the topic of the night, though, and that is Metallica. So what are your first? Let's talk Lux AEterna. What are your full thoughts on that song?
Okay, I think that it's. I understand what they're trying to do. I don't think it would have been the best single to put out if they're trying to promote a new album coming out, because it sounds like a song that was disregarded from Death Magnetic and still disregarded when it should have been on Hardwired. I think it was maybe a song that had been written. It seems like about in between those two albums that was kind of put off to the side, and now they're grasping for something, and they've done something. They took this song and said, okay, well, as long as it sounds like Hardwired, we did so well with that, we should be okay. And I think it's a little bit too Death Magnetic more than it is Hardwired, other than it has better production than Death Magnetic.
Yeah, I mean, so it's funny that you say that, because so Todd sent me this the day it came out. I didn't even know that they were putting out a song. And,
yeah, they did send me.
And so I listened to it, and that was like my first thought. I was like, this sounds like it came off of Death Magnetic. Like this is so. It's kind of that, like you're saying, kind of that cross between Death Magnetic and maybe Hardwired. I think Hardwired is heavier for the most part than this song. I mean, most of the singles that came off of Hardwired, I like better than Lux AEterna. But, yeah, it is what it is. All right, so Jack headed out there. But also he says Georgia Satellites were deaf rock country. Yeah.
Georgia Satellites were awesome. So, yeah, with that, okay, so the thing is,
Cheers to you, Jack, by the way.
Yeah, my biggest thing about the reason I go Death Magnetic, leaning that Death Magnetic side more than the Hardwired, is that it is a better production, but it seems that Robert's bass is not as prevalent as it was on Hardwired. Like, it's there, but it's not at the forefront with the drums. It's accompanying the drums, and which pisses me off, because that's the same thing they did on And Justice for All with Jason's bass, or it was more of an accompaniment that every once in a while you could hear it if you really listened for it. But that song Lux AEterna, you don't even when you put it on a really good stereo, the bass isn't punching you. And that's one of the things, like Hardwired with Atlas Rises. If you listen to that with just normal levels and just turn the volume up, the bass punches you in the face. And that's why.
By the way, that is a great song. I mean, I know it's modern Metallica, but I love that song.
Yeah, Mata Flame, freaking. There's a few songs off that last album that really are good, and other ones that they should have never released as singles. They should have just left it on the album and let people like it or not like it.
Yeah.
One is I believe something to the bone. I can't even freaking remember the name of the song.
Oh yeah, I know you. Yeah.
It's the stupid video where it has all this stupid shitty animation skeletons.
Yeah.
But no, I think the problem is that groups, Metallica and Megadeth are having the same problem right now. They're getting old and they want to still be relevant. They're going to be relevant forever, even after they've all went on their way, because they're the foundation of what everybody listens. I mean, a lot, not everybody, but what metal is today. They're the foundation of the freaking the uh, emo rock. I mean, anything punk. There's always a free influence there. I mean, I don't know. I think that they've got to the point where they've gone the way of Aerosmith, the Stones, and everything else. Yeah, they'll be great to see on tour just for the nostalgia, but it's time to stop putting out albums.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the thing. So, like, at a certain point, it feels like, you're like tarnishing your legacy by continuing to try and redo what you've done before and not doing it well. So, I mean, as I said earlier in the stream, if all they ever did was the first 5 albums, they would, in my mind, they would still be the greatest metal band to ever do it. So I don't think they need to prove anything at this point. So yeah, I didn't really want another album from Metallica. So the fact that they're putting one out is kind of whatever. And when I heard Lux AEterna, it was about what I kind of expected, for this era of Metallica. It's not, nothing.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of a mediocre song that as you said, if it had been on Death Magnetic, I don't think anyone would have cared about it. It would have been like a B-side track that no one ever cared about. So to release it as a single is kind of odd to me. Just so like the stuff I played tonight, I think every single one of that, and that's why I chose them, because they're all kind of lesser known Metallica songs on those albums. And I think every one of them is a better song than Lux AEterna. So yeah, I don't I don't really have any need for a new Metallica album, but it's coming. It's coming in April, so we'll see what happens. Maybe there'll be better stuff on it than that. I hope so.
Okay, so I have an idea. You said something along the lines, if you took the first 5 albums,
yeah,
and you would say that they only did those 5 albums, they'd be still the greatest freaking metal band.
in my mind, yes.
In your mind. Yeah. I have an argument with Iron Maiden. I have an argument with Judas Priest. But I'm going to put this argument to you. If I took the following 5 albums from one band and put them up against Metallica's, would they be right there also? One of the albums is called Reinventing the Steel. The other one's Great Studded and Treadkill. Then Far Beyond Driven, Vulgar Display of Power, and Cowboys from Hell. If I took those 5 albums and put them against the first 5 Metallica albums, how would they rate against each other?
Now you're putting like my 1A and 1B against each other.
I know exactly what I was doing. That's why I said I didn't pick 5 random. I didn't pick the first 5 Iron Maiden albums, because I know that the first 2 you're not a huge fan of. You have a specific album that you are a huge fan of, and other albums that you are a fan of.
Yeah, I mean, Maiden's certainly not my favorite metal band. I mean, I have tremendous respect for them. I mean, as far as longevity goes, you cannot doubt Maiden.
And that's the thing that is different. Okay, that's what everybody's like. Well, what about like Maiden? What about Priest? If you listen to the last couple albums that Priest and Iron Maiden have put out, they will stand up to almost every other album that they've put out, just in talent alone. Not just even the. And the other thing is too is both those bands write albums that are story albums. there's a story behind the album, and there's all the songs are linked to tell a story. So that's a different style of music. So that's why they have the longevity they do, because there's never the same story. Metallica, Megadeth, I love those bands to death. Everybody knows how big of an Anthrax fan I am and stuff like that. But they're, they have to change. They don't really change it up a whole lot, and it's pretty much the same thing. They just they rhyme words. James, you're right. When you said that, I almost started laughing so hard I almost drove off the road, because I was sitting there going, nobody else says it, that James just writes lyrics that rhyme.
I mean, so he doesn't do it all the time, but when he does it, sometimes it just drives me friggin' nuts. And it seems like as time has progressed, he does it more. Like in the early albums, he didn't do it as much. Now he does it on Blackened, but when he does it on Blackened, the words that he's rhyming all fit with the song, so it works for me. But like in the more recent stuff, he's just throwing words out that rhyme. I mean, it doesn't make any damn sense. And I'm like, James, what the fuck are you doing, man?
I'm driving through the fog. I see a black dog. He's sitting on a log.
Nation. I'm like, James, stop. Don't do that. Just like he's just throwing out words that have Asian at the end. Like, what? Stop. Don't do that. Don't stop doing that.
Yeah, so I mean, you take the first three albums, you take Cowboys from Hell, Vulgar Display, and Far Beyond, and you put them up against Kill 'Em All, Ride the Lightning, and Master of Puppets. If you put those three against each other, I think Pantera wins. It's just my own personal opinion.
If you put them against those three specific Metallica albums, I would say yes. Those are not my three favorites, so yeah. But now, if you put them against Lightning, Master, and Justice, that would be really hard for me to choose. I think I'd probably go Metallica, but it would be like, I mean, you're talking, one's at 10 and the other one's at 9.9. So
the thing that sucks is that Reinventing the Steel is a good freaking Pantera album. Not a great. It's a good Pantera album, but it was also the Pantera album that they broke up after. So they were already on the outs. So the album is not, I don't think it's even up to the par of Great Southern Treadkill. And Great Southern Treadkill is a freaking excellent album, but they just didn't, how do you say it? I just don't think that they pushed that album as hard as Far Beyond Driven got pushed on like the radio and.
Oh no! Well, I mean, so everybody always pushes Vulgar Display of Power, and I think it's a great album, but
Cowboys from Hell is better.
Exactly. I've always preferred Cowboys. I think it's a better album all around. Like Walk got a ton of airplay. I don't think it's top 10 Pantera songs, let alone their best. I mean, most people, all they know is Walk from Pantera, which drives me crazy. I think it's an average song from the Pantera catalog, honestly.
So I'm just looking at the list from Cowboys from Hell. And off the bat, now I'm a huge fan of freaking Vulgar Display, and Walk is a freaking awesome song. But myself personally, I'm looking at Domination.
Dude, that song is just
Primal.
Kicks so much ass.
Primal Concrete Sledge is way better than Walk.
Oh yeah, for sure, hands down. It's most of the songs on Cowboys kicks the crap out of Walk.
Yeah, Message in Blood's pretty good too, but freaking like Psycho Holiday's good, but the best song,
Heresy is a great song.
But the thing is that right, when you ask people what the best song hands down that was ever done by Pantera, a large group of people say Cemetery Gates, and that's off of Cowboys from Hell. Everybody seems to think that Cemetery Gates is off of Far Beyond Driven, and it's not. It's off of Cowboys from freaking Hell. And the other thing is too is that This Love from freaking Far Beyond Driven I think is also better than freaking Walk.
Oh yeah. I mean, you don't have to. I could live. I mean, I think most Pantera songs are better than Walk. So, yeah, you don't have to convince me.
I'm sorry. This one was also on. This one was also on Vulgar Display. I'm talking about. Was it 10 seconds or whatever the hell it is? 5 minutes alone.
5 minutes alone. Also, I'm Broken. I think is much better song to walk. I mean, there's so many songs. I think Tens is better off of Southern Trendkill. What else? What's the one with the epic dime solo on Southern Trendkill? I'm a few whiskeys in here.
It's not Drag the Waters.
I mean, Drag the Waters is great though. I would take
Oh,
that over.
Suicide, are you talking about Suicide Note or
Let me get
the reprise? The reprise, Sandblasted Skin.
just a second. Maybe it is Tens that I'm thinking of. What are you doing? There we go.
But like I'm saying, it's freaking. There's so many. Metallica, I have
My
to say,
phone's
is
being very slow.
Yeah, Metallica is one of the greatest that's ever done it. It's just that, like, everybody has their opinion. Some people are on the Megadeth camp. Some people.
Floods
Oh,
has a
Flood.
great
Okay.
solo in it. The solo on Floods is underrated. Anyway, continue, Stanley.
Well, it's just like freaking. The people don't give Phil after the whole Pantera thing. They give him no credit for anything else he did after that. And sorry to say, some of his shit afterwards was just as freaking badass. Freaking Down, Nola, that album is freaking crazy amazing for being sludge metal. And freaking, I saw him with was it Phil Anselmo and the Illegals or whatever it is. They did a tribute to Dime and Vinny on that last Slayer tour, the last Slayer tour.
Yeah.
And that was freaking awesome. I mean, it sucked to not see him playing with, Rex was there playing a couple songs, but it was cool to see other people come out and play some of those Pantera songs in place of freaking Dime and freaking like Charlie Benante from Anthrax came out and played some of the songs. He was there he just came to actually watch the Slayer show and he just happened to be there. So they asked him if he wanted to play. So he went out there and played a couple songs because him and Vinny were like best friends. So it was really cool. But
what crazy person thinks Cemetery is off of Far Beyond Driven? Hard to say.
I'm telling you, I've had people tell me, man, that freaking song Cemetery Gates I can't believe that it took so long for him to come up with that. I said, what do you mean so long? They're like, yeah, it's off Far Beyond Driven. I'm like, no, it's fucking not.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it's basically on the first album after they rebranded themselves and became the Pantera we know.
But the thing is, I think is what it is that a lot of people didn't know who Pantera was until This Love. And when that video came out, it was literally, 4 months or 5 months after that video came out, Far Beyond Driven, the album came out. There wasn't that many videos, and the videos that had come out prior to that, they played in like heavy rotation on MTV, which was Walk, Primal Concrete Sledge, Cemetery Gates, This Love, Cowboys from Hell. And then they put out that video, the Pantera video, where about the history of Pantera, like right around the same time. So those same songs were coming out as that album came out. So, but yeah, there's so many freaking different bands that people like. That's their favorite. I mean, I know people that love Pantera and Metallica that Megadeth's their band, or Iron Maiden's their band, or even the Deftones are their band. My son is a freaking huge Deftones fan, but he knows every single song that Pantera, every single word to every single song of Pantera, Metallica, Megadeth, and everything else. He just loves the Deftones. So freaking, to each his own. Everybody's allowed to be wrong.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, Stanley, you're like the only person I've ever met that's as big of an Anthrax fan as you are. Like, I don't know if I've never met anybody else that's as big of an Anthrax fan as you are.
Dude, big enough of a fan to put a freaking Anthrax, Pentathrax on my freaking wrist as big as day. People think I'm a devil worshiper.
There you go. So Ken here saying he was watching interviews with Phil last night and is playing Broken right now. Sweet, man. So like, I mean, my issues with Phil are just like, if he hadn't got so screwed up on heroin, like Pantera maybe would have went farther than they did. but it's just that's the life of being a rock star. So it is what it is. I mean, the same could be said of Nikki Sixx and a lot of other guys. So it's.
But here's the thing that nobody understands. I'm not taking Phil's side and everything. He was the reason they broke up, but all four of them had substance abuse problems at the same time. His was just affecting the band. The rest of them, I guess they were fueled by them. I don't know if you want to say that, but Phil was the one that couldn't reel it in when he needed to reel it in.
Exactly.
Because Rex even says Rex is a huge freaking proponent of marijuana. Of marijuana, if nobody knows who Rex Brown is, freaking. But he said he knew when to not drink or when to not do anything before a performance or even during a performance to save it for after the performance. And Dime and Vinny were pretty much the same way. Except for Dime did, have partaken a few before playing, but they knew when to reel it in.
Well, so
and
yeah,
Phil,
Phil's back was certainly what led to his heroin problem. But yeah, I mean, it would have been great if he could have just reined in a little bit. Yeah, they were hardcore on and off stage. Yeah, so but Kim makes a good point. We're talking a lot of music, we're not playing any. So let's play a little more. So. Stanley, are you familiar with the song Fixer from Metallica? I assume that you probably are.
Which one?
Fixer off of Reload. It's the last song on Reload.
I think I use that to make myself go to sleep. Something.
Okay. Well, here. Let's start it back over here. I
haven't listened to that album. I haven't listened to that album in like 2 years.
That's fine. I mean, most people probably don't know that this song exists because it's off of an album that, let's be fair, is not great. But I actually like this song quite a bit, and I think it's a decent song off of Reload. Granted, as we were talking about earlier, it's not the first 5 albums, but I do love this opening riff. I'm sure it's still.
I mean, it's no Lulu, but very...
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's not quite up to the standards of Lulu. I'm going to pour myself a little something here.
Okay.
Second. Okay, so thoughts, Stanley. What do we got?
Okay, so the beginning of that song is actually, I mean, it's how you say, it's kind of a throwback almost. If you really like, if you take knowing it's Metallica, if you were just listening to it for the first time, it goes back into that late '60s, early '70s prog rock type freaking vibe to it. Like a King Crimson-esque. If you taking the, I'm just going by the beat, the notes, so not necessarily the tone of them, but just the feeling of it. It's like they're getting ready to go into some like early like ELP, like ELP or King Crimson freaking prog rock, early '70s type deal before Rush, like the first couple Rush albums, some of the unknown tracks. But then it goes, then it's fucking Metallica. You have to have that tuck, 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 because that's the only one of 7 beats that Lars fucking knows.
Right.
So that's okay. I have to say this. I forgot to say this about the Lux AEterna. It is of popular belief, and it was brought up by Ola England on YouTube, that those tracks for that song are electronic. That the double bass.
I've seen that same video from Ola, and
he goes through and he shows you what the real drum sounds like, and then he shows you what the electronic drum sounds like off of the same recording freaking software that they're using in the studio. and you could tell. I never could really tell the difference between an electronic to regular drums sometimes, but you can blatantly tell that when you listen to it, you can't get it out of your head that
So
it's a freaking electronic drum track.
so Dan was on 2 to 90 the night after, because that came out on a Monday, and
Right.
then Tuesday 2 to 90 boys were talking about it, and me and Dan, I guess you were probably there too, and Dan said the same thing. He said those drums are electronic. I would bet my wife on it. And he's I mean, he plays drums. I mean, Dan knows about beating the shit out of some drums. So yeah, I don't. I mean, especially like when you look at the live version that we watched tonight of Lux AEterna, like Lars, he's not reaching that kind of speed on the double kicks. Like there's just no way that he did that. I mean, if he did, I don't know if he did a couple lines of coke beforehand. I don't know. I mean, there's just Lars is not that speed anymore. I mean, the guy is 62 years old. There's no way he's doing double kicks like that.
Well, okay. Now I can the age thing is not where the age thing is not where I would argue it. I would argue with this pure fucking raw talent. I
Well,
think that
yeah.
he had enough talent to play the first 4 albums. Except for the track 1 and the track Frayed Ends of Sanity. Outside of that, he had the talent to play
What's
that at one
wrong with
point.
Frayed Ends of Sanity?
No, just that I don't think that he played it. I don't think that freaking bass line that he played that bass line. I don't think he has the rhythm to play it. It's my own personal opinion.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
And there is an argument that certain guy's name whose name shall be nameless, but it rhymes with Lombardo, have laid down track for multiple Metallica songs. But the thing is that you look at people like Nico McBrain and from Iron Maiden, you look at Charlie Benante from Anthrax, who's 58 years old.
What is up, Mark? Cheers to you, buddy.
He can still play double bass like it's going out of style. The freaking drummer from Meshuggah is in his mid 50s, and he's still freaking the fastest freaking bass drummer freaking known to man. It seems like, but it's just I don't think that Lars over the years of the just the mileage has had the talent that he might have had when he was younger, and he phones it in. I think that this album, this Lux AEterna, this song, and probably this album, they were probably all in the same studio at the same time for only a few hours. Yeah. Outside of that, I think all this was done over emails.
Well, I mean, so
it was put together in the studio.
Did you watch the live interview that they did for the release of Lux AEterna and all that?
No, I heard the song and I was like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. So I was just curious because they talked about the making of and all that kind of stuff, and I mean, they basically said that they wrote their own parts because of COVID. They wrote their own parts separately, and then they just came to. I mean, basically what you just said. They came together in the studio and threw their all their parts together, and then because like James would write the lyrics and the rhythm, and then he would send that to Lars. Lars would put down his drum track, and then and then Robert would do his type out his drum track. And then Robert would do his bass line, and then Kirk would phone in his solo. So I mean they don't say it in those words, but I mean they basically say that that's how they did it, and then they finally got together and they did it in studio. But I mean it was all done ahead of time. Now it could be that some of this was leftover stuff from Death Magnetic or Hardwired. Hard to say. I mean, James could have had these rhythm sections done. This could have been ideas from those albums. Same thing with the lyrics. It's hard to say.
Well, James has said that he has tracks among tracks of rhythm guitar freaking stuff that he's had for years that he always brings out and sees if he can find something that he's interested in playing around with. But this album, Reload, I'm not going to say it's Saint Anger light, but it's not the greatest. I mean, okay, so The Memory Remains is a semi freaking
It's all
decent
right.
song.
Unforgiven 2
It,
is
bullshit. There should never been an Unforgiven 2. They did the Unforgiven. It was a great song.
okay. What
Fucking
I'm saying is for this album, it's okay. I'm not saying it's a great Metallica song. That's not what I'm
okay.
saying.
So here's one argument for one song off this album. There's nobody, I don't give a shit who you are, that's a Metallica fan or non Metallica fan, that when the very beginning of Fuel starts, you don't fucking do it. Even if when you're by yourself, you're sitting there going, "Give me fuel, give me fire, give me that which I
Okay,
desire."
here's my thing with Fuel. Although I will agree it's a catchy song. I have this argument with Todd and Andy all the time as well, because there's a lot of hair band stuff that falls in the same kind of category in my mind. I don't like catchy songs because to me, when you do that, you're trying to go pop, and I hate that with all of my soul. So when Metallica put out Fuel, I was like, this is a stupid pop song. Why are they doing this? I get that it's catchy, and yeah, it is. My brain knows it's catchy, and that's why I hate it.
Well, so yeah, okay. So here's the thing. Here's my thing with Fuel. Fuel is one of the songs. The only reason I really like it is because it's one of the songs where Metallica has multiple freaking time changes and multiple chord changes that make the song freaking interesting to listen to.
Yeah. Now I get your argument, Stanley. I'm not. I just metal shouldn't be catchy. That's not what metal is here to do.
If other people fucking like it, I fucking hate it.
No, it's not even that. I mean, because I love One, and that's probably their biggest song ever. I mean, so it's just that's not a catchy song. That is a well-written song.
That's the thing too, is that freaking for that song to have launched their career amazes me. Because
that's an incredibly dark song.
It is literally, if you go through the entire catalog, short of the song Master of Puppets, if you read the lyrics, not to listen to the song, read the lyrics, it's the darkest song that Metallica ever did was One.
Yeah, and it's odd to me that, I mean, Master of Puppets, a lot of people argue about what's the better Metallica song, Master of Puppets or One, and both of those incredibly dark songs. I mean, Master of Puppets is about how drugs are your master and basically ruin your life. And then
it's a freaking it's a cocaine addiction song.
Yeah, and so there's that on the one hand, and then there's a guy that literally has been blown to bits so much that he can't even communicate that he'd rather die than stay alive.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I love both of them. Anyway, let's get to some chat and then get back to some music, because Stanley, I want to get your full thoughts on Fixer. And Mark, since you're just joining us, we're to the latter part of Metallica's catalog now. Sorry, man, you missed the good stuff, I'd say, but there's I think Fixer is a decent song. But let me read. And Ken, if you're still here, we're going to play some Metallica before we close out tonight, because we talked Metallica. We're going to play some Pantera. My bad. Before we close out tonight, because we've talked too much Pantera to not play some. So again, cheers to you, Mark, Stanley, and Sean. Thoughts on Planet Caravan? Yeah, we will play that song specifically, actually, since you were kind of requesting it, and then we will talk about it. Stanley is my Eddie Trunk with music for sure. Yeah, Stanley, his memory is far, far better than mine. My memory is crap. Don't do drugs, kids. I liked the early stuff. Agreed, Mark. Yeah, me too, man. I love early Metallica. Babe? Oh, yeah, he's just his ears bothering. And One is epic. It is indeed epic. I mean, yeah, One. I remember the first time I heard it. Let's see, I would have been 8 or 10 years old. I mean, I remember just going through the whole Injustice album. My God, that album changed my life. Just like I'd never heard anything like that. Because
how old are you?
I just turned 40.
Holy fuck!
Yeah. So anyway,
I was in the military when freaking this album came out. When the album came out.
I know. I'm a youngin. Anyway, so let's get back to actually playing some music here because I want to get your. I'm going to let Fixer play for a little while. We're just getting into the lyrics now. I'll back it up one more time because I'm curious. I'm sorry, but I mean, I think it's just me, Stanley, Ken, and Mark. So, Mark, if you've never heard Fixer off of Reload, I think it's a decent song. I'm not going to back it all the way up to the beginning, but just listening to this the opening riff here, I think it's a decent riff for Reload. Buddy, what are you doing over there? Well, I'm going to play this, and then I got to deal with the dog.
Turn it up, son.
One second. I can't turn it up anymore.
Oh.
I mean, I can turn my personal volume up, but I can't turn it up here. The beginning of the song starts low. Stanley is mimicking Lars's drum action here. Here we go.
Only you can tell it time. If we fall off in the but tell me, can you heal what father's done? Fix this hole where our mother's son. Can you heal the broken world within? Can you strip away so we may start again? Tell me, can you heal what father's done? Cut this road and let us run. Just when all seems fine and I'm pain free. Jab another pin, jab another pin in me.
So let's pause there. So let's talk lyrics.
Okay.
Go
now, I can
ahead.
tell you what. I can tell you why it wasn't a single. It says the word God in it too many times.
Okay.
No, if you okay, I'm just saying.
No, I don't disagree with that sentiment. I think you're probably right. So
a lot of times, especially with like on the rock stations, wherever like that, unless it's like God Gave Rock and Roll to You by Kiss, a lot of songs that delve into God and the devil, whatever, just those words, tend to not get played a lot on the radio, and so they don't become singles. Like I said, it's really weird that one ever became a single just because of how dark it is.
Yeah.
And Master Puppets is never a single, never hit the radio. I mean, nothing from Metallica ever hit the radio waves until one came out, and then it was one, Blackened, and I believe Harvester of Sorrow made it to the radio, and then all of a sudden everybody had to start playing songs from the first three albums, but only on the late night shows on Saturday nights.
Right. So I remember growing up, the station the rock station I listened to down in Florida, they had a mandatory Metallica hour, but it was like from 9 to 10. That was, I mean, growing up, that was like my favorite hour of rock. So for those who don't know, I grew up in a very strict Christian household, so I was not allowed to listen to metal, so I had to get it otherwise. But anyway, that aside, so it is, as Stanley was pointing out, it's interesting that one was the song that brought kind of thrash metal and Metallica to the forefront, because I mean, before that, nobody even like knew that it was happening. I mean, nobody that was listening to mainstream music anyway. So the fact that a song about a guy that's been blown apart in war and literally can't communicate that he would much rather be dead than continue living in the state he's in.
And he communicate, and the only way for him to communicate is through freaking Morse code by bobbing his freaking head.
Yeah. Here we go. We got Mark. Mark's twisting around. There we go.
There we go.
Yeah, man.
Hi, Jen.
No, but freaking hello.
Sorry, disconnected my mic there. Good to see you, man. So thoughts so far on Fixer, Mark?
Not so much impressed, really.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, we're talking about a not good album. So, you know, I think this is one of the better songs on Reload, but that's not saying a lot. But that said, I still think I would take this song over Lux AEterna, my personal opinion. Which is the newest song.
Well, see, that's the thing too, is where I didn't understand the whole Reload thing, because Reload was actually songs that didn't make it in the first cut on Load.
Yeah.
Right. They were songs that were already recorded that because Load was supposed to be a double album, and then they cut Load down to 14 songs. And so when they cut it down, which they should have cut it down to 11, but that's my own personal opinion.
Or 10 or 9 or 8 or
no, actually, if you go through the first, you can pick out 11 songs.
Challenge accepted, Stanley. Challenge accepted.
You can pick out 11 songs that are freaking worth being on an album, just not the one. I mean, they're not songs everybody's gonna remember. But if you go, because so right now, just looking at the album, Ain't My Bitch, 2x4, House That Jack Built, Until It Sleeps, King Nothing.
2x4 is questionable. I don't know if that should have made the album, but.
Well, okay, think about it. If you go by any standard album other than the first few, if you go by a standard album, not by Metallica,
yeah, okay.
You have 5 to 7 songs that can be singles. Usually 3 of them are, and then the rest of them are fillers. So if I was to make an album of 11 songs and move 2x4 down to the bottom half of the album, I still have Mama Said, Wasting My Hate, Bleeding Me to move up, dropping off Cure, bringing up Ronnie, and then tossing everything else off the album.
And now, okay, so I'm going to throw it out there. I think Outlaw Torn is not a terrible song. I don't think it's not even the best on this album, but I would take it over. Huh?
It's too long.
Well, yeah, but that's not a problem for me as a Metallica
fan.
If
you put that in the 11th spot where it was just like right now it's the last one on the album right now. If you moved it up into the 10th or 11th spot at the very end of the album, okay, I can understand it's like a reprise. It's something that exits the album. But Ronnie, just because it's a tribute song, deserves to be in there. It's not great, but it deserves to be in there.
I'm taking off 2x4. I'm taking off.
Cure sucks.
Huh?
Cure sucks.
Oh yeah, Cure is terrible. That's got to come off. Poor Twisted Me, that's coming off. Wasting My Hate, like, I don't know. I could live without it for sure. Thorn Within as well, no. And Mama Said is, I don't know. Maybe it makes the album. So,
but I'm saying, if you're gonna pick 11 songs, you could pick 11 songs out here that would make an album, that would make the album decent compared to what it was, and you've got freaking Ain't My Bitch you can't release as a single, but House of Jack Built,
they did release it as a single.
House of Jack Built, Until It Sleeps, King Nothing, and Hero of the Day. There's 4 singles right there.
Now, so I want to throw this out there real quick. I think Bleeding Me is a good song. I know it's long, but as a Metallica fan, that doesn't bother me. I think Bleeding Me is one of the better songs on this album. I like it. I like it better than Ain't My Bitch. I like it better than House of Jack Built, better than Until It Sleeps. I'd say Until It Sleeps is a close second for me on this album. King Nothing is kind of a whatever. I mean, it's fine, but
It's a pretty good tune.
yeah. And then Hero of the Day is also decent, but I mean, I don't know.
Well, you got to remember, this is also when Metallica was trying to be shocking by cutting off their hair and looking as I don't know
Poppy
what
as they
the
can
word,
look.
as womanly as they possibly could with mustaches.
Women, I don't know about womenly, but that's
I
an
mean,
odd
they
choice
cut their
word.
hair off and they put on eyeliner and freaking makeup and freaking,
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
Kirk has always worn eyeliner and that kind of stuff.
80s
So
glam.
yeah, but freaking all four of them have eyeliner. If you look at the freaking press releases, they
yeah,
all are wearing
I got
freaking.
you. I know what you
They
mean.
all wear an eyeliner. Freaking Lars and freaking Kurt look like they're a couple.
That's
Freaking
fair. That's
and
a
stuff like
fair
that.
assessment.
So it was when they were trying to shock everybody, so they changed it up a little bit. The thing was for me is that like "Ain't My Bitch" was afraid. If that was on any other album, nobody would say it was a bad song. I really think that if it would have been
No, yeah,
something that
it's
was
decent.
that had been thrown on freaking the Black Album or just
Mm,
something as a single release with Garage Incorporated,
yeah.
nobody would bitch about that song.
Yeah, probably not.
Um,
Well, I say the same thing about Bleeding Me. I think Bleeding Me would fit fine on Black.
yeah,
Um,
but
but
it would also have to be, like I said, towards the end. When you get past 6 or 7, when you get past the 6 minute mark, it's usually got to be a song that's going to be
yeah, it's gonna be a B-side track. Yeah,
a B-side track. But it's also, unless you have 16 songs on the album, you have to put it at the end. Once you get that album that's got get towards that 16, it's not technically a double album, but freaking
Oh,
get towards
yeah.
that
Might as
16
well
point,
be.
yeah.
you have to push those longer songs towards the end because you're going to lose somebody in the middle of an album with an 8 minute song.
Mm.
They're just going to end up just going past it or whatever like that. If you've ever noticed, if you listen through an entire album, even if the last two songs are bad, you go ahead and listen to them anyway just to see what they are.
Well,
So
yeah,
you'll
but
make
who
it
does
pretty
that nowadays?
Yeah.
well.
You know, who
Most
even
people don't
buys
get
an
most people
album
they don't get it
nowadays?
out. They don't get the albums anymore. But
You know,
myself personally, I still buy a CD here and there. But I also every
some of
time
my
there's an album that comes out, I listen to the entire album. So
yeah, some of my friends down here in Austin, they're releasing vinyl again. Like
Yeah.
I know the guys in Broken Teeth, Dangerous Toys. I mean, you may have heard of them, but they're actually putting out vinyl again. So that's
yeah,
more power to them, because it's vinyl's a lost art, kind of seems like nowadays. But some of us really like it still. I've got the old, I've
Oh
got
crap!
Zeppelin 4
Sorry
on
about
vinyl.
that.
Come on.
Didn't mean to start
yeah.
playing that again.
Yeah,
So
give us to a good tune there. Come on, Sean.
yeah, we're gonna switch to Pantera in just a second. But first, I want to read
Oh,
through.
okay.
I want to read through Ken's stuff here. So Johnny Got His Gun movie heavily influenced the song One. That's why they used it for the video and even brought the rights to the movie. Okay, cool. Johnny Got His Gun novel from 1938 was inspired by articles about the two men with severe injuries that Trumbo read about. Okay. The tearful hospital visit of Edward VIII, I'm sorry,
Eighth.
Prince of Wales to Curly Christian. My screen's a little farther away in this position than normal, so I'm the eyesight's fading. Let's say
Cheaters.
that.
Gotta
Considered
get some
to be the
cheaters.
considered to be the first and only Canadian soldier in World War I who was a quadruple amputee. What the hell? Righty then. And a British major whose body was damaged so horrifically that he was reported as MIA to his family. The family discovered the truth years after his death in the hospital.
Wow.
That's something else. And
So
I guess Mark had already read all that. But all right, so earlier, Ken, if you're still with us, you had requested a very specific Pantera song. So we're going to get to that right now because that's kind of what I'm here to do. is play music and talk about it. So we should do that.
All right, real quick, Sean, before you do that.
Okay.
I think that your next one of your next streams, whatever, when you decide to do it, I think we need to decide. We need to have a conversation about who really deserves to be in the Big Four. Does Slayer deserve to be in the Big Four?
I'm fine with Slayer being out. You're going to get no argument from me. We've talked about
I know who your argument is, and you know you're doing it just to fucking push
Who's
my
the other
butt.
three?
The Big Four is Anthrax, Slayer, Metallica, and Megadeth.
Oh.
I mean, honestly, Stanley, we could narrow it down to the
Okay.
big two and just call it a day. But
yeah, I myself personally, I think there's other bands that are better than Slayer. Like I think Exodus is better than Slayer. I think Overkill's better than Slayer.
Yeah.
Testament probably as well.
Testament is another band that I think is better than Slayer, and it's only because if you really put your heart into listening to Slayer, it's the same song over and over again for 30 fucking years.
I mean, they have a few songs that stand out, and outside of that, it's
they're the AC/DC of freaking thrash. That's exactly what they are.
Yeah.
Whoa! Hey, calm it down there, buddy. You do not talk crap about AC/DC on this channel.
No, I love AC/DC.
No.
I love AC/DC. Believe me.
I understand. I understand.
The same rhythm, the same freaking. I mean, there's a.
Yeah.
How you say there was a formula that AC/DC found that everybody tries to run with. The difference is that AC/DC has been able to run with it.
Kind of riff.
So here's the difference for me, though, Stanley, is that Angus Young is a much better riff master than anything that Slayer has put out. I mean, there's a few songs that have great riffs, but for the most part, as you pointed out, it's just the same thing. They do not have the iconic riffs that AC/DC has.
No, other than Rain and Blood, there's not a whole.
So, yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, we all know, and anyone that's ever played guitar even a little bit knows that AC/DC is not complex guitar writing. It's pretty basic. But that said, Angus knows how to write catchy riffs that work in just rock and roll songs.
Actually, Angus doesn't know how to read or write music.
Well, but he is writing the riffs. So I mean,
okay. So
if writing is not the right terminology, Stanley, fine, whatever. Go screw yourself. You know what the fuck I mean.
What I'm saying is what people don't know about Angus Young is that most of his when he goes to record an album, he has something in his head. He runs through it and then says, "Okay, record this next one," and then he plays it. And if it's good enough for him, everybody else has to accept it because that's the only time he's going to play it for a recording. When he plays it in concert, if you can listen to any live concert, pick 3 random concerts on the same tour, it's never the exact same guitar playing because he knows the riff. He just decides, I don't exactly remember what the exact notes were I played the first time, but I'll get something close.
Yep.
And he's the master of doing that. His brother, before he passed away, his brother was the one that wrote most of the guitar, like the real guitar parts, the bass parts, the help with the lyrics.
Yeah.
He was the one that wrote a lot of what AC/DC does.
Yeah, the actual writing of the song, yeah.
Right. Angus would come in and say, "This is what I want to play. I'm going to play it for you once. If you want a second one, you got to have my brother convince me to play a second one," type situation. But I'm done.
Yeah.
So, Angus
Young
is freaking awesome. I love Angus Young.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm saying is that all I was trying to get to is that Angus is the one that came up with the iconic riffs that we know.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's the one that's got that what he wants to do in his head. But people are being amazed how many people don't even know how to. That people don't know how to read music or actually write it down. They just go and record it.
Well, yeah, I mean, the same was true of Hendrix. Hendrix didn't know how to read and write music, but it didn't matter because, like, he understood what made a good song. So, like, just because he was so familiar with the guitar, he didn't need to know music theory and all that kind of stuff because he knew what sounded good. So, and that's what I respect about guys like Angus and Jimmy and all the old blues players. Like, none of those guys knew music theory. None of them knew how to read music because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, that's not a thing you need if you understand how the guitar works and how music works. Like, you just know by ear. Stanley's shaking his head.
Don't get me started on Jimi Hendrix. I don't want to get started on that one.
Yeah, I have no problem with that. But that's one of the things that I like about music is like with guitarists, for example. One of the things I like that they can get across a feeling or that kind of an emotion through a guitar, like say Stevie Ray Vaughan or people like that. They can play some good tunes and get across an emotion at the same time.
Oh yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan's one of my favorite guitar players of all time. I love that dude so much. But
so, just real quick, Stanley, and don't go deep dive here, but are you anti-Hendrix? So I'm curious.
I am not anti-Hendrix. I think Hendrix was an amazing guitar player.
Okay.
I don't believe that a person who actually only made 2 complete albums deserves as much adoration as others that. I mean, Eric Clapton, freaking Johnson, freaking. There's a lot of other guitar players that were as good, if not better, than Hendrix. That still
okay. I gotta pause you on Clapton because Clapton himself said that Hendrix was better.
I know that. Believe me, I've seen every freaking interview Clapton's ever done. But I'm saying is I have a problem with some people like Buffalo Springfield. How's Buffalo Springfield in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame by putting out 1 fucking album?
That's fair. That's fair.
Things like that. That's why when does Jimi Hendrix deserve to be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Fuck yeah, he does. But I think that he's not overrated, and he's one of the greatest guitar players ever played. No,
I'm a Hendrix fan. I mean, he's
slightly overblown.
He's right here. So right. I'm a Hendrix fan. But that said, I think that Hendrix is overrated. I mean, for most guys in the guitar world, he's like this mythical being that like can never be attained, like no one will ever be Hendrix kind of thing. And I don't think that that's quite right. I think that what's interesting about Hendrix is that he was always trying to find like new ways to go about the guitar. Like he was always experimenting. And like before that, like guys like Clapton, I think that Clapton is probably more technically proficient than Hendrix.
Agreed.
But I don't think he's as interesting to listen to, so it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I think Clapton could probably play circles around Hendrix if you gave them sheets of music and said, play this complex sheet of music. I think Eric Clapton would probably run circles around Hendrix. But that's not really what I care about because, like as I said before we kind of got into this, Hendrix understood what made a good song. And I don't think that Clapton does as well. Like, I mean, there's certain songs from Clapton that certainly stand out. Clapton's definitely written some amazing music. But, I mean, at least to my ear, I think that for the most part, Jimmy wrote better songs than Clapton did. Like,
I completely understand what you're saying. But this is where I argue with people the most about. If you've ever heard Stevie Ray Vaughan play All Along the Watchtower, and you play that up against Jimi Hendrix playing the same song, there is no freaking comparison.
Well,
there is no comparison because Stevie Ray Vaughan, hands down, holy shit, that man, what he did, he's freaking I'm sorry, and his brother Jimmy he's not Stevie Ray, but he's damn fucking close.
All right,
that ain't bad either.
Real quick, I just want to say outright before I go any farther, I love Stevie Ray Vaughan. I do. But that said, I don't think that Stevie ever had the soul that Jimmy did. There's something about
I'm subscribing.
No, I mean there's something about the tone that Jimmy got that Stevie never quite had. Like
Yeah.
when you're comparing the two, like, I mean, because I love blues. I mean, I just deeply love blues, and primarily black blues. I mean, because that's where it started. Let's be fair here.
Yeah.
And so there's something about Jimmy's versions that, at least to me, project more emotion than Stevie's. Now, again, I think the same conversation we were having with Eric Clapton versus Hendrix. I think Stevie Ray Vaughan is a far more skilled player. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, Vaughan. I mean, you could put him against the best of the best. He can play probably anything. When you talk about projecting a feeling through your music, I think that Hendrix does that better to me. Now, again, now that said, I think Vaughan is a lot closer to that level than Clapton in my mind. I think that Vaughan had much more of that soul than Clapton ever quite got.
I agree. Clapton was more technical about stuff and wanted to be more precise about everything, versus like Stevie Ray, would just throw some stuff out there that felt good and add in some weird shit on the strings.
Yeah. Hey, and we got Woods in the house. What's up, buddy? So I've promised it for a long time. I hope Ken's still here. We do need to get to some Pantera. We've been promising it for a while. I kind of am doing this on the fly, so I don't know what's the best version. This says Planet Caravan live best version. We'll see.
Well, heck, if it says the best version,
what's that, Stanley?
I said the internet doesn't lie. It says best version, right?
Yeah, it's got to be. It's got to be. That's got to be the best version. It's been, honestly, Ken, it's been a while since I've listened to this song. This is not in my daily playlist or anything, so it's been a minute. I'm familiar with it, but it's been a while. So let's get to it here. Dime just, he's magical.
Kind of a crappy recording.
Yeah, I don't think this is the best version.
Yeah, sorry, I got to stop this. This is an awful recording of this song. I can't even hear what Phil's saying.
Yeah, it's kind of rough.
Let's try again. This is not the best version. YouTube, you lied.
Obviously, lying bastards. Come on.
All right, let's just go with the remastered version. It won't be a live, and we're getting an ad as well. So that's fantastic.
But Ken,
one second, Stanley. Let me get through these stupid ads, and then we can talk. Okay, you were saying.
Ken was just asking what we thought of the song about Planet Caravan by Pantera. I mean, it's not Black Sabbath Planet Caravan off of the Paranoid album, but this is one of the better covers of any of the Black Sabbath songs. It's also one of the better covers of any song done by another band. I mean, freaking other than freaking Disturbed's version of Sound of Silence. I think this is probably right up there with being one of the better covers of a freaking other band song.
Now, I know this flies in the face of many people's opinions, but I am not one of those kind of people that think that the original is always better. So I appreciate the original, but if someone can do it better, then I respect that. So let's go ahead and get to it here.
Yeah, you fucking young.
I agree with you, Stanley. The Disturbed Sound of Silence, he freaking nailed that shit.
That's a better version of that song.
Crap.
Oh, yeah.
Just like Hendrix's version of Along the Watchtower is better than the original.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah,
okay,
granted, there
Stanley,
definitely are some versions
there's
that are
no
better than the
way
original.
there's no way you can argue that Bob Dylan's version of All in the Watchtower
Oh
is
no,
better
I'm
than
a
his.
Bob Dylan.
Come on now.
I'm a Bob Dylan fan, but not a fan that would argue that.
I
Ooh,
mean,
no.
even Bob Dylan says that Hendrix version's better. So
Oh no, I'm not. I'm saying Hendrix version is better. Is better. I'm just saying freaking. No, I wouldn't argue that thing, but you
okay,
know,
so Stanley, I'm going to say a thing, and actually this is for everybody, but I feel like Stanley might have the largest reaction. I think Phil's voice is better than Ozzy's, and so I think that's what sells it for me. So anyway,
okay.
let's listen to it, and
Play the
then
tune.
yeah.
Sounds better.
Yeah, much better.
Oh, the production's way better. If you've never listened to what this is.
Stars shine like eyes. The black night
God, that's good.
Yep, that's good.
Smashing prices. Kind of in this break here.
Yep.
I got to point out. So one thing that Phil does really well to me that makes me a huge Pantera fan and just a fan of him as a musician and a vocalist is that Phil can project sorrow and pain better than most guys in the business. I mean, like you can feel his pain in this song. Like it's just bleeding through the speakers. And I mean, Ozzy, as much as I love him, I don't know if he does that quite as well. I mean, Phil takes this to such a dark place just with his vocals. I mean, you can feel the depression and the pain and the
I agree.
I think that Ozzy just makes it more. What's the word I'm looking for? Not dark. It's not darker. It's almost scarier because of the echo. The echo, the way his voice echoes when he sings, and he makes it more. I say sinister sounding more than depressive sounding. He makes it more. He makes the song more evil sounding because of just the timbre of his voice. I think one for one singing when Phil actually sings, he does sing better than Ozzy. I mean, better than Ozzy. But then again, a lot of people sing way better than Ozzy, but they're not Ozzy. So therefore, he doesn't.
Well, I mean, Ozzy is Ozzy not because he's a great vocalist.
Yeah.
He's just Ozzy because he's fucking Ozzy.
Yeah.
Last time I saw Ozzy in concert was with who was it? Open. White Zombie opened, and I'm like, and then Ozzy came on the stage. It was too late by then, because Zombie done whooped my ass. My neck was all jacked up from headbanging all night long with his ass. Oh, it was rough. 2 days later, I was who stepped on my neck?
Man, White Zombie
but it
back
wasn't
in the
from
day.
Ozzy.
Yeah. But man,
I was actually lucky enough to see the last Black Sabbath show before the Hollywood Bowl show, before the very last. it was what they called it Ozfest meets Notfest in
Yeah.
here in San Bernardino.
Yeah.
And so one day was Notfest, the other day was Ozfest. On the Ozfest day, the closing band was was Black Sabbath, and Ozzy was sick, but he did a fucking awesome job for being as old as that fucker is and everything else. And it was great because it was literally the very next day they played their very last Black Sabbath freaking concert. So I got to see him before,
Okay.
with the original lineup. My thing
Yep.
was is that the mistake that Ozzy made was he had Judas Priest and freaking Disturbed go on before him.
Yeah, don't do that.
Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
two of the greatest vocalists in metal right now or ever.
Disturbed went on and damn near freaking Rob Halford had said that they went out that night and that when Disturbed got done that he actually thought maybe we shouldn't go out there because
and
he had
Rob
done,
Halford can sing his ass off. So
Yeah.
they did the light and then they did Sound of Silence.
Yeah.
And then they closed with Sound of Silence. And
Oh
Rob
shit.
Halford says that when they did those two
Yeah.
songs back to back, which are like the two of the best vocals that he does, he
Yeah.
says maybe we shouldn't have gone out there. But then they went out there. I mean, it's Rob fucking
Yeah.
Halford.
yeah.
Exactly. Go out there and say fuck y'all.
Yeah,
Come on,
freaking
get you some of this.
No, but I mean,
yeah,
David from Disturbed, man, that dude can freaking sing.
Yeah.
yes, he can. But no, I love the Pantera Planet Caravan, and it's freaking awesome. I'll listen to it 100,000 times. But I'm just I guess I'm just old enough, or whatever you want to call it. I'm 53 years old. I grew up with my uncles sitting there in the corner while they were listening to freaking Black Sabbath Paranoid over and over again,
Mm,
freaking playing pool and teaching me how to play pool and listen to music. And
there you
that's
go.
why I always be a huge fan of the Paranoid album. Fairies wear songs like Fairies Wear
Paris wear
Boots.
boots. Yep.
Freaking
So
Kiss.
Oh
what
I'll
do
yeah.
we?
always be a huge fan of Kiss because of that shit too.
So two questions, guys, and
Yep.
panel chat as well. So first off, from Woods here, worst Sabbath cover ever. War Pigs by Faith No More. Beat that one. Thoughts on that, first of all, and then I'll ask my
Oof.
question.
Oh, I don't know
It's
if
not
that's the
great.
worst
It's not
cover.
great.
It's not great, but I don't think it's the worst cover. There's two albums called Nativity in Black and Nativity in Black 2. There's a lot of worse songs than freaking War Pigs by Faith No More on those
That's
albums.
fair. Yeah. Yeah.
But War Pigs is really, really bad.
It's not good.
Mm.
Yeah.
Even though the
Yeah,
thing that's
by
bad
them.
about it is that Mike Patton has one of the greatest voices ever in music. If you listen to stuff that he didn't do with Faith No More.
Yeah. I think I saw him. I believe that band opened up for Nine Inch Nails when I saw him down here in Texas.
And then now he's touring with Mr. Bungle again, but freaking
Mm.
Mike Patton, he was doing when he was his whole hiatus from rock music, he was over in Europe freaking doing operas and shit.
Damn, really?
Yeah,
Holy
he has
shit.
he
He's
has
got
like
that
full
kind of
blown
a voice.
freaking,
He's got that much sustain and everything in his voice.
yeah. He
Really?
has like two or three different albums over in Europe where he's singing freaking
Damn.
opera songs and shit. Yeah, he's a freaking awesome vocalist, but freaking
Wow.
All right. So next question, and that is Megadeth's cover of Paranoid. Thoughts?
I haven't heard that one. I mean, Megadeth is
I,
all right.
I refuse to answer on the grounds that Megadeth freaking fans will fucking stab me in the neck.
All right. So I will. I'm a Megadeth fan.
Yeah. All
It's
right.
okay. I don't think that Dave's vocals work great on that song.
He sounds like he's freaking pissed and getting ready just to punch somebody the whole fucking song.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I mean, because like Dave's vocals work like in a really specific thing, and like generally Dave knows where his vocals work because like he doesn't have great vocals. Like Dave's, I mean, he knew from the very beginning. Dave Mustaine was looking for another vocalist and he couldn't find anybody, so he just like said, "Screw it, I'm going to do it myself."
Yeah.
but I mean, he knows he's not a great vocalist, and so when he writes songs for himself, like he knows what his lane is, like he knows where he can like what works. But like when he covered Paranoid, and that's like such an iconic Sabbath song, like you can't just, and it doesn't really work.
Well, the problem with Dave Mustaine's voice is that when he's if you ever like really watch him, it's like he's singing through his teeth. He's like, he especially has a "Finish with my woman 'cause she couldn't help me with my mind."
Yeah,
it's just like
that's exactly that's a pretty spot on impression there, Stanley.
he just sounds like he's just, even on some of the songs where it's like, I mean, like some of the songs are perfect for him, like "Sweating Bullets" when he's like,
"Sweating Bullets." That's what I was fixing to say.
Meet the real me.
Yeah, and that's where it stands out good, and he's good with that one. I love that song, "Sweating Bullets." That's a great tune.
Yeah. His greatest vocals are like on "Hangar 18." Oh, I'm sorry, there's not a lot of vocals on that song.
But that's a killer song.
Tornado, freaking, and that's an awesome freaking vocal on Tornado.
Okay, so I really got to piss, but we'll first off we got to finish Pantera, but then we can talk Megadeth. So I'm gonna play some Pantera while I piss, and then I'll be right back.
There you go. Sounds good.
Yeah, so enjoy Pantera.
Rock on. Oh, Stanley going to piss too. Well, I guess it's just me and you. All right, then. Ken, what are you drinking tonight? Anything? Still living in the woods? Are you sipping on anything tonight? Come on. Somebody got to join me here. What the hell? I'm sipping on some foolproof. Oh, there you go, Stanley. Got this bottle.
There you go.
1792 foolproof store pick.
There you go.
That's not bad.
So
yeah. Yeah. So if you need some Still Austin stuff or something like that, let me know.
Yeah, I'm keeping it low proof. It's just Alberta Dark Ride.
Can't see it. What was it? Oh, Sagamore Rye?
Yeah, it's Alberta Dark Ride.
Oh, okay.
It's only 92, but I gotta work in the morning, so I don't want to get too freaking.
Well, maybe a small pour.
Yeah.
Hey there, coming out, Lou. Oh, Green River. That's a good Kentucky one. I've had that. It's quite tasty. I know right where the Green River is. I've been on.
Can we just acknowledge how Dime is just killing like this jazz blues riff?
Yes.
Nice. Dime, the freaking man.
Straight
out of Texas.
Yeah, baby. Well, I can say that now, but I'm a Kentucky boy, so I'm a Texas transplant.
That's it. Dave's vocals work in a very specific thing, metal, indeed. Yours Too Fast, Interject, Sabbath, Paranoid, The Only Paranoid. Yeah, I mean, I've listened to a lot of covers, and there's nothing like the original.
Yeah.
That's song. That's a song that only Ozzy can do.
It kind of plays true for most original songs. Most of the original artists, their song with the way they did it, that's the way it is. There's a few, here and there that are, somebody else copied the original and then did a better job of it. But there's not that many of them, I don't think, personally.
No.
Well, I think there's specific singers that no one would dare freaking try to make a copy of one of their songs and think that it's going to be better, or even maybe not even be really a tribute, because they couldn't get to a certain level. Because like if you don't hear anybody talking about doing a Chris Cornell cover, you don't,
Yeah.
or you don't hear anybody talking about
God.
doing
Love that
when
guy's
Chester
voice.
when Chester died. Okay, well, sorry, when Scott Weiland died,
Mm.
Chester Bennington took over as lead singer for Stone Temple Pilots,
Right.
Yep.
and he did a great job
Yeah.
because you knew it was Chester Bennington. He was just singing as Chester Bennington and singing Stone Temple Pilots songs, but there's specific songs like "Creep" and stuff like that
Mm.
no one else can sing but Scott Weiland because that's his song.
Yeah.
His voice only works for that song. And then even when
I
it
heard a
comes down to
female
it,
version of Creep. It was really good.
I
Yeah.
mean, I've heard a couple songs that were good and everything else, but for some reason, there's just certain singers that people just don't like. Even Chester Bennington, you don't see a whole lot of people trying to cover his songs from Linkin Park at all,
Yeah.
unless it's as a tribute on a tribute album or a tribute concert
Yeah.
Yeah.
and stuff
Like
like
Tom
that.
Petty
Because,
stuff.
I mean, like there's certain songs that he did, like for instance, like "Crawling." I don't know if anybody else could do that song the way that Chester did it.
oh hell no.
Because that's such a personal song for him that like it would be really hard to capture that same emotion because you're not him.
Yep.
And then there's always got to be certain songs that if they were covered, nobody would ever say unless it was okay. When David Drain, when freaking Disturbed did freaking Sound of Silence,
Hmm.
I'm a huge Simon and Garfunkel fan.
Oh yeah.
And when I heard that song, I was like, I never thought that anybody can make that song feel better.
Exactly. You're like, holy shit. You know,
Because that,
I saw him
cause
do it
that song,
live on what was it, Letterman or something like that?
yeah,
And it was like, holy shit.
yeah.
That dude just he nailed it and then kicked it out of the park and then played with it in the parking lot. It's like, holy crap. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It's
So
awesome.
so there's a live version where David and Miles Kennedy do that song together, and Miles can sing. I mean, Miles is not like a slouch vocalist, and still David just makes him look like crap. I mean,
Yeah.
David is. I mean, there's very few artists that can sing like David can sing. I mean, he's some of the
He's
best.
one of the best vocalists of the generation right now.
Yeah.
In my view.
And the thing is, too, is that Miles Kennedy is a different type of vocalist.
Yeah,
Sure.
for sure. Yeah,
for sure.
Miles Kennedy is more in that, I'd say, the vein of a Steven Tyler with more talent, freaking vocalist.
well,
He's
yeah,
got
I got
that. He's got that timbre. If you've ever heard Glenn Hughes sing, I think that Glenn Hughes and Miles Kennedy are really close in the same realm of what their voices can do.
Okay.
Glenn Hughes
Who's Glenn?
used to be the bass player for Deep Purple. He's been in.
Okay.
He was the lead singer for Deep Purple here and there. But he's had a few bands off on his own. I'd have to go look him up. I have a couple of songs from him, but he's got that high. He can sing high. He can sing low. He's a freaking excellent freaking vocalist. But but Miles Kennedy, man, freaking. The thing is people don't realize if you ever watched a movie called Rockstar, the movie where it's supposedly loosely based on Judas Priest and how they went through their search for their new freaking singer and got what's his name? I can't remember his fucking name. It wasn't Blaze Bailey. It was the other one. Tim Ripper Owens. At the very end of that movie, Mark Wahlberg pulls a kid out of the audience.
Yeah.
At Lovestock.
And hands him the mic. You know who that kid is? Miles fucking Kennedy.
Really?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Stanley's nerding out on us again.
But no, I'm saying I do this because everybody brings up that the lead singer of Steelheart did a lot of the songs in that movie. But Jeff Scott Soto, who sings with Sons of Apollo and a few other, he did a couple of those songs also. And then Miles Kennedy did the reprise version of Stand Up and Shout at the end of the movie.
Mm.
So that's why I always get a kick out of people like, yeah, Miles Kennedy, didn't even know who he was until he showed up in Alter Bridge. And I'm like, he's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
Yes. So real quick, just want to get to a few comments here. Ken taking the night off, I guess drinking wise is what he means, I assume. I've streamed the last week straight and going on again tonight. Yeah, so yeah, take a break, Ken. And also, it's 96 degrees. So
Oof.
yeah. Australia.
To put
Always-
ice in your
Mhm.
damn drink.
Oh.
What the hell?
Yeah. Australia just constantly trying to kill you.
Yep.
Green River here. All right, cool. Lou, is that the Green River bottle that you got with me? I feel like it probably is. Because I don't think that's available in Texas. Maybe it is. I don't know.
No.
I
I bought a bottle when I was in Kentucky.
I'm looking at my friend on the screen.
What's that?
I'm looking at one of my friends on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Chris Broderick.
There you go.
No,
Symptom,
I know him and his wife. So
cool.
That's cool.
Symptom by Sepultura is a good one too. Yeah, for sure, man. And then that song got overplayed when it came out, but it's a masterclass in crescendo. Okay, so the reason I brought this song up is because I wanted to start a brief discussion because I'm going to close down here fairly shortly, but I want to discuss, is Tornado of Souls the greatest Megadeth song or not?
No.
But no, wait, just wait. Don't. Let's listen first, and then we can talk about it.
Okay. But still no. All right.
Oh, it's so good.
underrated drummer right there, Sean Grove.
This morning I'm in my car, but the one that is it all. Hanging up, I wanted to cry. But damn it, this one's gonna die. Not for the money, not for the fame, not for the power, just no more games. But never safe in the eye of a tornado. Why can't the place last 1,000 days ago? I'm more living trapped inside. In a way, I'll surely die. Will the eye of the tornado blow me away? You don't know my name. You hate me just the same. You want me your friend, and so you mean your dead. Not for the years, not for the use, not for the tears, just some abuse.
What was the question again?
In the eye, the tornado. Why can't the place
Because I'm not impressed.
We're getting to a break here shortly. Here, I'll pause here. What was that, Mark?
What was the question again? Because I'm not really impressed.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
Okay.
No. Oh, wait. Okay. Wait a second. Symphony Destruction is not the great. There's no way that's the greatest Megadeth.
Oh, you're gonna lose
I
this.
like that one.
You're gonna lose this argument, Sean, because
Okay.
I mean, now at the same time, I will say this. I will say that I will also be losing the argument because nobody will agree with my favorite freaking Megadeth album.
Matut Le Mans.
Okay.
Okay. So
Who
now,
already knows what
I
mine
like
is.
Sweating Bullets myself.
I
Sorry.
mean, okay. I don't dislike Sweating Bullets. It's just that when I compare, so first off, what is this album? Shit. It has like, it's the skull guy. He's holding like the plutonium. He's looking at the alien in the case. Why can I not think of the freaking
Yeah, it's Rust in Peace.
Rest in Peace?
Yeah,
Thank
Rest
you.
in Peace.
Thank you, Stanley.
Yeah. Holy Wars is on the same album.
Exactly. But, okay, so I I've listened to both 1,000 times, and I love both songs, but I go back and forth between what's my favorite, between Holy Wars and Tornado Souls. But either way, this is my favorite Megadeth album.
Okay.
So yeah, I love Rust in Peace tremendously. Me and Andy always talk all the time about how Euthanasia. I think Euthanasia is his favorite. I believe. I feel like that's Andy's favorite. So we go back and forth all the time. But anyway, yeah, Hangar 18 is also on this album.
If you would have said, is Rust in Peace the best Megadeth album, I would say yes.
Okay.
Just because it has those 3 songs on it, pretty much almost makes it the freaking the best Megadeth album. I mean, come on, freaking.
Now,
but
I think A Tout Le Monde is now to your argument, Stanley. I think A Tout Le Monde is right up there with those 3 songs. I mean, so Holy Wars and Tornado Souls are 2 of my favorites, but A Tout Le Monde would be right in that mix. So
okay.
I can't really argue a whole lot.
So my 2 favorite songs by Megadeth are Trust off the 13 album.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good song.
It's the best. It's probably one of the best written when it comes to lyrics. It's the best written lyrical song that he's written that Dave Mustaine has been involved in. It's also one of the best acoustic songs when they do acoustic versions of it of any metal song. It's just a really good acoustic song. A Tout Le Monde is my number 1 favorite Megadeth song of all time. To the point where I would unfold it, but
I know.
So Sean knows this. Not a lot of other people do. In my wallet, per se, is a folded up piece of paper. It has the lyrics to A Tout Le Monde written in French on one side and in freaking English on the other.
Dang.
It stays in my wallet so that if anybody finds it, there's a note attached on it that says, if for any reason I pass away, I want this read at my funeral while the song plays. And I want somebody to read the English version of it where it says, to all my friends, I'll miss you. I will miss you as much as I. So it's an ode to the people that are there that came to say their final goodbyes to me. So it's always in my wallet. And the thing is my dad, that same year I did this, he didn't know about that. He still doesn't know about that. He asked me what I wanted for Christmas, and I said I found this Flying V Dave Mustaine.
Stanley, see, now you need to go inside because
I don't have the guitar with me. It's actually in a storage that is climate controlled so that nothing bad can happen to it. With a couple other guitars. So I have a Mustang V that my dad bought me because I told him I wanted it. It was only like $100. It's a cheaper version of a Dean. And I said, I wanted it. He said, where's it at? I said, Guitar Center and such. He drove 45 minutes, didn't tell me, went and got it, handed it to me at Christmas. My dad never bought me a guitar or anything I ever asked him for. That was the first thing he bought me that I specifically asked for. Yeah. And so I've told Sean that when I pass away, that Mustang freaking V and that will be buried with me, and the lyrics to the Tout Le Monde will be read.
Awesome.
And that's a killer guitar. Stanley showed it to me, and that is a great.
It's guitar. The black. It's the black Dean Mustang V. But yeah, so outside of those 2 songs, though, I am a huge fan of Peace Sells and
Peace Sells by Who's Buying.
Yeah, I don't know why, but for some reason that song was always it was the first one that Megadeth had on MTV, and I just always loved that freaking song.
I feel like Mark, maybe you're just not loving the live version. We're gonna try.
Okay.
What are you doing today?
It's possible.
Word to God.
Me?
30
minutes ago.
And so Ken, you pointed out earlier, let me pause for a second, that I needed to get the ad free. I'm not giving money to YouTube ever for anything. So screw them. I'll suffer through the ads. YouTube's never getting a dime off me. That's why I won't do super chats, because screw them.
Yep.
Anyway,
PayPal, baby.
that's right. Yeah, this version does sound better. That riff is so freaking good.
There you go. It does sound better.
Not for the power, just for games. But now I'm safe in the
Great
tornado. I can't replace the lies and learn the best if days go. And one limit trapped inside. When I way I surely die. In the eye of the tornado, blow me away. You wouldn't know my name. You hate me just the same. You want me your breath. That's who you beat your death. Not from the years, not from the use, not from the tears. Just have abuse. But now I'm safe in the eye of tornado. I can't replace the lies, learn about the days go. You won't live it trapped inside. Whenever I surely die. In the eye of the tornado, blow me away. Who's to say what's for me to say? Who's to say what's for me to breathe? Who's to say what's for me to do?
Oh, that's a good song.
Yeah, it's a much better version.
Here it comes. That riff is just so freaking good. I love it.
You know what Megadeth's problem is?
One second. Let me pause. Let me pause. Go ahead, Stanley.
You know what Megadeth's problem is? They put out too many fucking albums.
True. Yeah. I mean, like, if Dave had condensed his albums down to fewer albums and just put out his best stuff, I think that Megadeth would be much more popular, because
Well, I mean, they've got three live albums. Then he's got freaking these compilation albums that he throws together every once in a freaking while. Then he's still got the greatest hits. Then he comes up with like Anthology Worldwide, freaking War Chest, Warheads on Foreheads. They're like all these freaking like greatest hits albums and live albums. It's like, dude, we know you're still around because people are always bitching how bad of a freaking much of an asshole you are. We don't need you to keep on putting out another album that doesn't do anything. Because I'm looking at the albums, and there's songs that are awesome off of each of these albums. But if you just took 2004, 2007, 2009, if he just did the freaking Megadeth, the Metallica thing or whatever, where you put out an album every 6 years and concentrated on just putting out great albums, they would be as freaking Metallica. But he's never done that. It's always been like, let's put out 14 song or 8-song albums instead of finishing out better albums.
But it's because, like, Dave is just a rage monster, and he's been fueled by rage ever since he got kicked out of Metallica. And his whole thing was like, I'm gonna just I'm gonna prove that I'm better than Metallica. And like that doesn't. I mean, like I mean, there was a point in my life where I was kind of that guy. So like I get it. It's just that it doesn't necessarily always lead to great art.
But he went from they literally went from 1994 in Euthanasia, and between that time, wow.
I know. There's a lot.
8, 9, 10, 11. 11 more albums, okay, to 2016 when Dystopia came out before they had another great album.
Yeah.
There
Yeah,
was good songs. There was good songs on each of the other 11 albums. A song here, a song there, but not a great album like Dystopia was. And then turn around and 6 years later, when he should have put out another great album, he put out this freaking tragic thing that just came out recently called "The Sick, the Dead, Dying, and the Dead."
yeah.
And that is I'm sorry, that is probably
It's
one,
it's not
if
good.
not the worst, freaking Megadeth album.
I mean, so like, the same thing I said about Metallica earlier is the same kind of way I feel about Megadeth in some ways. Like, he should have stopped at euthanasia, like, because he already proved what he was. Like, there was nothing else he needed to prove. Like,
Well,
like if he had
he could
stopped,
have.
if euthanasia was the last Megadeth album, no one would have doubted the greatness of Megadeth. Like, no one would be like, "Oh, Megadeth's trash," because David already proved what he could do. So like now it's just like it's getting sad and like just stop. You don't need to keep putting out albums. Like we know what you can do, Dave. It's
Well, see, here's
Yeah.
the thing too, right? With the whole Dave thing, was that if you've been to, okay, I've been to see Megadeth in 2013. I've seen Megadeth 10 times. It was the exact same concert, all 10 times.
Dang.
Almost the exact same freaking. All they did was add a new song from whatever the newer album was.
yeah.
Like one or two songs, but the set list was basically the same. The stage setup was basically the same. A couple new things here, a couple new things there. Oh, there's a different style of Eddie coming out and walking. 9 foot tall, 9 foot tall freaking. Sorry, what's his name? Vic walking across the stage. Rattlehead. I'm just freaking like, come on, dude. At least I know when I go to a Maiden concert, it's never the same. It's never the fucking same.
Yeah.
When I saw Metallica at the Rose Bowl, it was fucking amazing because it was nothing that was the same of anything I'd ever seen Metallica do before. Freaking, stuff like that. Freaking, but hey, I love Megadeth. Freaking, I'll always love Dave Mustaine and everything else, but I think that, like you said, you're right. I think Euthanasia was was their best album. Dystopia was great. I was glad that he finally came back and did a really good whole album. But to take a whole 6 years to come out and go through all that shit with Ellefson, and then that's the thing too, is that why take the original tracks and have them redone by a bassist that's marginal? I mean, and then change drummers, and then freaking it's like, and of course change freaking he has Kiko still, which was the guitarist on freaking Dystopia, but him and Kiko are the only two members that were still in the band.
Original, yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I think it's like, I don't know why bands feel the need to keep putting out material. Like, so like Crew is still touring, Guns N' Roses is still touring, Metallica is still touring, Megadeth is still touring. So just because you're touring, you don't need to put out new material. Like, nobody cares to hear it. Like, I don't think there's any Metallica fan that's like, I'm not going to go to this Metallica concert unless they put out a new album. Zero Metallica fans have ever said that. I'm certain of it. Yep. Same with Crew or Guns N' Roses or Megadeth. Nobody gives a shit. Like, stop doing it because
exactly. Shut the fuck up and play what we want to hear.
Yeah.
You know who's a newer band that I wish would stop making albums and just tour? Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm a Five Finger Death Punch guy. I love that shit.
Yeah, me too.
But
I love Five Finger, but the 6th, 7th, and 8th albums, or I'm sorry, 7th, 8th, and 9th albums, it's like, come on, dude. I got your 6, which has a couple decent songs on it, but
there's a couple decent songs on each one, but they're not good albums.
I just want to go see him in concert, and I want to see him go off singing The Bleeding and fucking War Is the Answer. That's what I want to see. I don't need to see all this other garbage. When he goes off on The Bleeding, it's just like, there's no... He's an amazing fucking frontman.
That's the thing. Ivan still has it. Like, Ivan's he's so freaking good live. He's a beast.
I'm a heckling guy.
Oh yeah, freaking. I'm also like bad, burn motherfucker, burn freaking the song with freaking Halford.
Yeah. Yeah,
Lift me up above.
that's off of the double album. Anyway,
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah. So I
Oh.
mean, still to this day, though, my favorite Five Finger song is White Knuckles. I love it. It's just
Oh, yeah.
it's just just a rage monster of a song. It's so good. But anyway, so band Scott Ken here, Scotch Down Under. Band, we got so many albums. Megadeth, hold my beer. But and then Lou saying, but he was better than Metallica. Oh, damn. No, he wasn't. I mean, just look at the numbers. Like, it's pretty clear. So the reason why, to Stanley's point that he made earlier, that Megadeth keeps playing the same show is because those are the songs that people know.
Yeah.
Metallica can play different shows because people know a lot more songs. I mean, Metallica, as far as like the known catalog, is a much larger selection than the Megadeth catalog that people know. Now, sure,
Well,
you wait. So sure, you got your super fans on both sides, Metallica or Megadeth, that know all the songs, but those are not this. I mean, when you're trying to sell out arenas, you're not just going to have super fans there. It's going to be a lot of just kind of normies that show up because they want to hear, Symphony for Destruction or Trust, or maybe they know Holy Wars or Tornado of Souls. But they want to hear the stuff that they know. So, and Megadeth's catalog in that regard is not nearly as deep. So,
nope.
Yeah, well, but I would tend to argue what you just said with people are going to see these songs. With the Iron Maiden, the last tour they did, the Legacy of the Beast tour.
Well, I think Iron Maiden fans are a little bit different, though. I mean, because Iron Maiden never. I mean, because they never had a lot of radio play ever.
Right, no. But the Legacy of the Beast set list were songs that they never played in concert before. So everything that they had never played on a tour list, they've played the songs like in a concert here or a concert there, but they weren't a regular set list song. They were like substitute songs because whoever couldn't freaking play that part that night or wasn't part of was sick or whatever. But there were not regular set list songs from any of their tours. So what they did was they put together a set list called the Legacy of the Beast, which covered all their albums. They were just not songs that people would normally, unless they're hardcore fans, would know. And they sold out every single concert. And people went to see it even after they knew that it wasn't songs they were going to. And it's all because, and I think with the thing that Iron Maiden has over most bands is their production. Just like Slipknot. Because there's a story, because they go from the different stories right on the same live stage. And, Bruce Dickinson gets in the trooper outfit. The next thing you know, he's in the clairvoyant outfit. And then freaking, you got like all these different eddies through the whole thing interacting. So if you know the albums, you kind of know the gist of the songs and you know what they're talking about. And it's a completely different experience. Just like when you go to Slipknot, Slipknot's never the same concert. They did back-to-back nights at a Knot Fest and played 20 song sets. And didn't play the same song twice.
Yeah,
between those two days.
Again, though, like see, Slipknot's another band that they've had a lot of songs on the radio. And
they're fucking awesome in concert.
Yeah, and also Corey can sing his freaking ass off. So, yeah. Now
I got to go. Phone's fixing to die on me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, Mark, for joining us. I appreciate you, man. I appreciate all the support tonight, actually, because this is the first time doing this thing. So thank you guys for hanging with me tonight. You guys are awesome.
Sir.
Appreciate you.
Awesome hanging out with you.
Yeah, cheers, Mark. And I haven't really decided like a day for this, but it'll be a more regular thing. So yeah, cheers, buddy.
Then. Cheers.
Just give me enough of a heads up. Just give me enough of a heads up and what the subject's going to be, and then I'll freaking
Yeah, so I just went tonight because this is normally my music night anyway. Because 21090 they weren't going, and I was like, you know what? I got nothing to do. I've wanted to do a live like this for a while. I was like, screw it, let's just go. And so like I'd wanted to talk, like I had this idea of comparing Metallica, like the new Metallica song, to the old kind of unknown stuff for a while. And so I was like, let me find some songs, get it kind of like a playlist together, and let's do it. So that's what I did. But anyway, but now Patreons, because basically everybody that's been in chat tonight is Patreon. So Patreons going forward, I would like, I mean, if you're interested in this, and it seems like you are, at least a few of you are. So I would like for you guys to, if you're up for it, to come up with the subject. So like if you have like bands you want to do verses, I'm cool with that. If you have like albums from the same artist that you want to do head to head, whatever the thing is. But either way, I mean, the whole goal of this channel will be playing music and talking about it. So and I mean, and mainly like, I mean, because we don't have a ton of viewers, me and Stanley are kind of nerding out and stuff. But I mean, most of the time I want to be playing music and doing less talking.
Yeah.
Because I want music to be kind of the star of the show here. And then I'll just kind of add my 2 cents, and then whoever else is on will add theirs as well. But go ahead.
Like I said, so we talked some Megadeth, we talked some Metallica, we talked some Pantera. I really, really think that I owe the people an Iron Maiden video, but it would be covering your favorite album, because I still owe that video for Number of the Beast album. So I think the easiest way to go about it would be your favorite album by Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, against my favorite album from Iron Maiden. And it's not even my favorite song, but my favorite album, Power Slave.
Okay, so I think here's what would be fun. We'll kind of steal from Todd and Andy, and we'll have chat rate them, right?
Okay.
And then and then so chat decides. Chat decides what they prefer. And they can give us our average score once we go through the two. I'll just run them through Spotify because I have it on the computer already, rather than like trying to bring up videos for each one. Yeah, man, that sounds fun. I'm up for that. So I'm partial to Number of the Beast because of that song specifically. Because for me, it's one of the most well-written, not just Maiden songs, but any song, like in the metal genre. Like, because like you get these two different perspectives. Like a lot of people think that Number of the Beast is like this satanic song that you should never listen to if you're a Christian. But actually, what the song is about a man that is like troubled because he went to this like pagan ritual, and now he's like haunted by it. And then the latter part of the song is literally Satan warning him that, like, if you do this, I will possess your body. So like, it's very dark for sure, but at the same time, it's really like a warning to, like, you should not partake in this unless you want Satan possessing you. Like, don't do this. It's not a good idea. Let's see it. Okay, so let me read a little bit of chat here, Stanley, and then we'll get back to it. Also, we never finished Tornado of Souls, and the most important part has yet to be played, and that is the solo. So we have to do that.
The whole fucking song is a solo. It just happens to have freaking Dave Mustaine grunting over at times.
But that's what makes it great. It's just magic on a guitar. Anyway, all right. So Wood saying that they have to keep touring because they don't make much on album sales nowadays. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yeah. True of all bands.
I say type in Lars Ulrich net worth, type in Dave Mustaine net worth, and then tell me they need to tour.
Yeah, but at the same time, though, I think they made a lot of that money years ago when the big albums came out and all those big tours and stuff. When they were selling out huge arenas. I mean, and that kind of give them the like kind of the jump off to keep that tour momentum going. I mean, like if those albums hadn't happened, like they would not be selling out the tours they're doing now. Yeah, so like if Dystopia was all they had, like no one would be going to see Megadeth. So, anyway, Five Finger Death Punch should have stopped making albums after the third or fourth. That's probably true. I mean, I think the double album is good. I think there's some. See, my memory is crap, as you guys already know. But so let me see here. There's an album kind of in the middle there that I could live without. I'm trying to think. My phone's at 1%. I'm not even sure if this is going to happen. I've been texting folks and chatting all night. Let's see. Discography. Oh, it's loading, but slow. It's probably going to die in a second. I say, so first off, Way of the Fist, my favorite Five Finger album ever. War is the Answer is good, but I'm just running through real quick here. I mean, like Bad Company is probably the standout on that.
Burn It Down's pretty badass too.
Burn It Down's pretty good.
These guys are really good at changing freaking tempos and shit on songs.
American Capitalist. Let's see here. Under and Over It, that's a great song. The Pride's decent. Coming Down is a good song. Let's see here. Remember Everything is kind of whatever. It was a single, but I never really cared for it.
I love the song Way of the Fist. Zoltan, open the sky.
100 Ways to Hate is kind of a personal favorite, but If I Fall is decent as well. And then let's see here. Then we got, and then we have the double. Yeah, so yeah, I think they probably should have stopped at the double album. Got Your Six. What's on that? Jekyll and Hyde. Oh, okay. Yeah. So Wash It All Away is on Got Your Six, and I do like that song. Outside of that, though.
Yeah, other than Jekyll and Hyde's is good. Got Your Six is okay. Wash It All Away is good.
Yeah. There's really just two decent songs on that album. Not a whole lot else. I can't believe my phone's still going at 1%. Now on album 7, and Justice for None, which is a kind of a ripoff of Metallica, which I don't love. I do like I Refuse. I don't like Blue on Black. I didn't like the original. I don't like their version. Champagne, I think, is a stupid song.
Yes, it is.
Let's see here. Gone Away, of course, an Offspring cover, which is pretty good, to be fair, but still a cover. So, and Will the Sun Ever Rise is actually a decent song, but I mean, nothing outstanding. And F8. I'm trying to remember what the hell is even on this. Yeah, so yeah, there's a lot of albums that probably didn't need to be made. Inside Out is okay. Actually, I do like Brighter Side of Grey. But I like depressing songs, so whatever. Yeah. And then A Decade of Destruction, that's just all their greatest hits, basically. So is there anything new on that? I don't think so. No, basically just. And then Afterlife, their news. Actually, I have to say, Afterlife is not terrible. I like IOU quite a bit. Let's see here. Afterlife, the title track is decent. Welcome to the Circus is okay. I think it's better than a lot of the other stuff they put out recently, but it's not the first three and then the double. But anyway, we haven't finished this Megadeth song, and that's probably more important than anything else. So we should do that. But let me run through chat. Then we'll finish Megadeth, and then we'll close out for the night because I probably should sleep since I have to work tomorrow. Nothing ruins a rock act like going sober. Nothing. That's true. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, as much as I hate the state that like Nikki Sixx was in and Phil and all the guys that have been on heroin and all the other crazy crap. I mean, when they were at their height, they were drugged out of their minds. So, you know, it is what it is. Megadeth was more metal than Metallica. In that way, they were always the underdogs. Metallica was better in pretty much every other way. I kind of agree. Now, I will say, I think that Dave is a phenomenal words getting pretty hard. Phenomenal guitar player. I think in a lot of ways, I think he tends to write things that are more complex than Kirk probably does, but that doesn't necessarily make them better just because they're more complex and more intricate and more technical. Kind of like we were talking about earlier in the stream. I think for the most part, Kirk makes better sounding solos and stuff. But, you know, that said, this solo we're about to listen to is pretty freaking amazing. So that's why I liked Metallica Reload's tour better than Load. On Load, they played all the new shitty songs that no one liked. On Reload, they played the hits and some new stuff. Yeah, I'd heard that. I didn't go see their Reload tour, but I'd heard that about that. Nobody topped Maiden in the mid-'80s as far as showmanship went. Yeah, I mean, I would say, as Stanley was pointing out, they still put on a hell of a show. And there's all the peace and cheers to Mark. Yeah, my good buddy there, Mr. Gracia. I need to get Mark some stuff from Kentucky. Best Maiden album equals Life After Death. Okay, fair enough. Number was a warning. Indeed, it is. It's funny to me. Like, I have a lot of friends that will not listen to that song because they think it's demonic. Which, I mean, the message is certainly demonic, but it's definitely a warning to not participate in such events. I can't even argue with y'all. If you tell me the best Iron Maiden album, I'll probably agree, except X Factor. Okay, fair. Yeah, no, I mean, so I think Stanley has a good idea there. We'll have to do a rundown of a couple different Maiden albums. And again, Patreons, I think what we'll probably do is we'll throw up a few bands first off. Some kind of some bigger bands everybody knows. And then you guys can throw suggestions in the comments as well of stuff that you'd like to see. Because again, like, I'm just going to keep, even if this channel becomes successful, which I don't know that it will or not, but either way, this will just kind of be our music channel for Whiskey Wars. And we'll always have the same Patreon regardless of how it goes. So what we'll do is you guys, the Patreons, will get to suggest what music we cover here. So if you guys have suggestions, then please let me know. But probably sometime this week, I'll throw up a few different bands, say like Metallica, Megadeth, Pantera, Maiden, Priest. Probably got to do some Sabbath. Throw them in there. So throw up a few bands, and then you say which band you guys are most interested in. Whichever band gets the most votes is what we'll do next. And then once a band gets picked, then I'll throw up another poll of like albums to compare, or whatever you guys want to do. We'll figure it out as we go. I'm kind of still new to figuring out the exact form of how I want to do this, but formula, whatever the word is. Fucking amazing solo by Megadeth. Yeah, which we still need to listen to. I agree that Way of the Fist is the best album. Yeah, pretty clearly to me, their best. I mean, they just came out of the gates. Just that album, it's so freaking good. I am a fan of Fine Finger. Yes, for sure. Buddy, you woke up. Might as well start the song from beginning. Okay, that's fair. We'll do that.
Twist his arm.
Yeah. Don't make me. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to listen to Tornadoes of Souls again. That's terrible. Zoltan Bartholomew is a business genius, but as soon as Moody went sober, that was the end of the magic. Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he is because, he's not killing himself now. But at the same time, man, back when Ivan was a raging alcoholic, the dude was just a monster on stage. Like, oh my God, he was just, the shows were freaking nuts. Like, I mean, he literally was ready to just murder people. It was fantastic. You could feel the hate flowing through him. It was so good. It was just
Well,
pure.
yeah, he used to before he went to rehab. I saw him right before he went to the rehab the first time, like literally like the week before I saw him, and he like had like this fake blood like wiped all over his face and shit. And he comes out for the bleeding, and he's carrying a baseball bat with spikes in it and shit. And he's just like beating the crap out of the freaking speakers boxes and the stage and shit. And he's like just going on, just like you could tell it was almost like it hurt him to sing the song, and
Yeah.
it was like freaking crazy.
So the time that I've seen him 3 different times, but so the first time I saw them, and it was right around that same time, same deal. It comes out with the bat with spikes, and he throws it back and cuts his head open, and still does the freaking song. I mean, he's bleeding all over the damn place, and then he does the bleeding, which was appropriate. Yeah, it was epic. Yeah, the guy he was a monster on stage. He was just ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, blood running all down the side of his face, down his neck. It's getting on his arm, and he's just screaming his lungs out. Yeah, Ivan is one of my favorite frontmen of all time. Anyway, Megadeth do have some of the best cover art for sure. Kurt made better sounding solos. Past tense, yes, agreed. Let's see. I would start with Iron Maiden, then Iron Maiden, and maybe Iron Maiden for the third band. Fair enough, Lou.
I think that Lou wants Iron Maiden.
It seems that way. So I think I know where Lou's vote will be on the Patreon poll.
So just real quick, about the Lux, whatever the fuck,
Right.
that thing Metallica. You said something when I was driving home listening to you that was about Kurt's guitar playing, about his sliding.
The sliding he does the new solo drives me nuts. I do not like it at all.
What's really weird to me is that he doesn't do a lot of those slide pitch bends on anything. It's usually his wah. He's known for that wah.
Yeah, he's the wah king. Like, and he's doing these weird, like, I mean, he's clearly. I don't know if he's not good at it, or it doesn't work. Anyway, continue, Stanley.
But the thing is that he's not. If you listen to that song, there's not that much wah in it at all. So it kind of makes it not a Kurt freaking song.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said and like Minnie said,
dude, he uses wah on the Unforgiven. Come on, dude, freaking that's a slow song.
Kurt uses wah and everything. Like that's what Kurt does. That's what you expect from Kirk Hammett. Like when he doesn't do it, it's like, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah, if you don't hear that Kurt Hammett crybaby wah, what the fuck is it? How is it a Metallica song?
Let's see here. Okay, so I'm trying to post my link. Wait, was it? Can I post it from here? Yes, I can. Yeah, there you go. So nobody. So there is the Patreon link. Hopefully that works. I'm not good at this at all. I usually rely on moderators to do this kind of stuff because I suck at it. Buddy, no. My couch is falling apart because it's pleather, and my dog is licking it. So then the fake leather cover stuff gets all in his mouth, and then he chokes on it. Anyway, there you go. There's the link. Sabbath equals most important metal band ever. Let's fight. I mean, so certainly, I can't really argue with that because I mean, without Sabbath, does metal exist? I mean, does it? Well, I mean, does it exist in the form that we have? You know, there's all these kind of like, butterfly theories and all whatever. But anyway, so I mean, Priest probably would have come around anyway. We could have a whole discussion on that, but it's already late in the night, so maybe next stream we'll cover. I'm sure Stanley has a whole lot to say about this. So,
I have things.
So if Sabbath didn't exist, we'll save this idea for next time. If Sabbath didn't exist, what would metal look like today? So, Illinois is one of the most important metal bands for sure. No argument for me.
Yeah.
Master Metal. Post the Patreon link. Also add to the video description. No wrenches here. Oh, right. No wrenches. Well, we got to fix that. I forget all these kind of things, because I'm used to it just all being done. But new channel, so I should probably, do stuff. All right, so let's make some moderators.
And also you should probably I don't know, tell Todd and Andy and some other people about it so they actually promote you a little bit so people know that you exist.
Oh, yeah, I mean, like, wait, why is it not? There we go. Okay, I see. One second. I'm sorry. I'm making moderators, and I'm not good at it. All right, so Lou should be a moderator. Wood should be a moderator. Ken should be a moderator. Mr. Great Shot should be a moderator. Who else? Stanley, throw something in chat so I can make you a mod.
There's only been like 4 people here all night, so forget I should be in there somewhere.
Well, I don't feel like scrolling that far. It's been a long time since you said something in chat, so. Okay, there's Jacob. He should be a mod. There we go. Okay, so and then I'll make you a mod, and then we'll have plenty. It worked. It did. There you go. Sweet. There we go. Okay, now we got some mods. We got plenty of mods now. All right, yeah. So, guys, we're still also trying to nail down a time for this. I mean, I went tonight because 21090 went, obviously, but I'm not gonna. I mean, I am loyal to 21090. I'm not gonna stream over those guys. Because I love Todd and Andy. I would love to do like an after party, but they usually close down a lot around 11. And if I go, because I'm not going to do an hour, like my shows never go just an hour. So if I did 2 hours, I'd be looking at 1 a.m., which is what it is right now. And this is kind of too late, if I'm honest. So we're going to have to find another night to talk music. Maybe Wednesdays. I don't know. We'll talk about it. We'll figure out a night that hopefully works for everybody. I need something else to drink, clearly, because I'm getting hoarse. But still, let's. I need to also pee again. So, while I'm doing that, what we should do is listen to some Megadeth from the start, as Lou pointed out, because it's been a while since I stopped this. So, from the start, Megadeth, Tornadoes of Souls. We're going to play it in its entirety without interruption. Here we go.
Go ahead and finish.
I'm sorry, Stanley.
If you're going to go ahead and this is going to be the last thing you do, I'm going to go ahead and drop off.
Okay. All right. That's fair. All right. Well, Stanley, first, then if that's, then thank you for hanging out. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of your music knowledge as always, man. Your memory is much better than mine. Yeah,
I've been doing it a lot longer, so
that's fair. Yeah, you got a few years on me.
But
I'm sorry to hear that, Mr. Grisha. But anyway, yeah, thank you for hanging out, man. And Stanley is the music guru. I just like music, but Stanley knows music. Yeah.
yes.
So yeah, we could talk all night for sure. But I'm gonna leave you guys. I mean, I will be back and we'll talk briefly about this song. But right now I got to pee pretty badly. So we're gonna do that.
I'll talk to you
Stanley,
later, Sean.
good night, man. Appreciate you as always. Have a good
Just
one.
send me a message when you decide when and what the next subject and time is.
Well, I mean, you're a Patreon, so we'll talk about it all in there if that's all right. I
Okay.
mean, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's fine.
yeah. So
All right.
we'll work out the details on all this going forward. So yeah.
All
Cheers to you,
right.
buddy. Appreciate you,
Night,
man.
everybody. Bye.
All right, you guys listen to some Tornado of Souls while I pee. All right, enjoy.
Not for the power, just no more days. But now I'm saved in the eye of a tornado. I can't replace the lost blood of the sisters go. And my limit trapped inside. When I surely die. In the eye of the tornado. Blow me away. You blow the love my name. You hate me just the same. You want me your breath. Yet soon you'll be your death. Not for the years. Not for the use. Not for the tears. Just have a fuse. But now I'm saved in the aisle of tornado. I can't replace the lost love of thousands days ago. And one living trapped inside. Whenever I surely die. In the eye of the tornado. Blow me away. Who's to say? What's for me to say? Who's to say? What's for me to be? Who's to say? What's for me to do? God said, fate that'll be for me.
That freaking riff. So good.
The land of opportunity. The golden tax for me. My future looks so bright. I think I see the light. Can't say what's on my mind.
Gotta pause it for a second. So now, to my recollection, this is a Marty Friedman solo there, which to me is the greatest of the Megadeth guitarists that Dave has hired over the years. Kiko is great, but for me, Marty Friedman is the king. I know there's some issues with Marty over the years, but man, that solo is just it's freaking magic. It's just one of my favorite metal solos ever. Probably my favorite Megadeth solo. Yeah, man, just so freaking good. Anyway, back to the song.
I want you on the fade, moving too late. Your dog whispers, drunk now on the stairs. Right now I feel afraid. I spin you round again. My voice feels so bad. Like I tuck you in the bed. You feel my fingertips. You won't forget my lips. You feel my cold breath. It's something.
And absolutely, Woods. Yeah, I mean, Marty is just dude's a master. Just it's unfortunate that things had to go the way they did between him and Dave, but and Marty's choices as well in life. But I have to wonder if things had been different with Marty and Dave and Marty's choices and stuff, like where Megadeth would have went going forward if Marty had stayed in the band, because he's always been my favorite. I think that's what makes this album so magical. I love Rust in Peace. And that solo is just absolutely phenomenal. Anyway, guys, so as I've talked about all night, basically, so Patreons, I really want you guys, because we have a pretty good group now of Patreons, so I really want you guys to decide going forward. Friggin' sweet. Welcome, Mr. Great Shot. I appreciate you, Mark. That's awesome, man. Thank you for the support, and can't wait to hear your input on Patreon. Hopefully I'll get it up tomorrow. I do work tomorrow, but hopefully tomorrow evening I'll be able to get up the poll and let you guys choose. Let you guys choose what we're going to be talking about on this channel going forward, as far as music wise, and hopefully get some fun stuff going that you guys want to see. And I hope that you guys look forward to this, and hopefully it becomes a regular thing. We do need to work out a night, because I don't want to stop doing the Whiskey Wars lives. I need to keep doing that, because I still want to do whiskey content. I'm going to kind of divide my time. So what will probably happen, Patreons, just so you guys know, there will probably be less whiskey reviews coming out. So I'm typically doing 2 a week. It'll probably be down to 1 a week, just to save me some time so I can work out, stuff for this, because as much as I love whiskey, I love this more. It's just like when I first got into YouTube, I wasn't sure I could make this a thing. But we're going to do it anyway. I'm not I couldn't tell you what chords they're playing or what notes it is or any of that kind of stuff. I just love music, and I think a lot of you guys do too. So hopefully, we can have some fun with this and listen to some music that we all love, and just enjoy it and drink some killer whiskey while we do it. So anyway, guys, thank you everybody for hanging out tonight. I wasn't sure how it would go tonight. I kind of felt like I might just be talking to myself all night, but had a pretty good showing, honestly. Thank you to all you guys. So thank you for everybody for hanging out tonight. Thank you. Basically all Patreons came out tonight. You guys were awesome in supporting this. Really appreciate it. Now, a few things here in chat I want to get to. So, yeah, certainly welcome to the club, Mark. Thank you very much, man. It means a lot. I mean, and really all patrons, your support is awesome. Because I mean, still I'm making nothing from YouTube, and potentially I never will, which is the whole other thing I don't want to get into this late. But yeah, we're having some issues with YouTube. So reviews honestly mean little to me, but probably draw in subs. Yeah, I mean, so that's the thing, and that's why I keep making content, is because content is what draws subs, which hopefully leads to, you know, a larger community on lives, because lives is really what I enjoy doing. And so, you know, I like to build that community because, you know, having a good group on lives leads to lots of fun conversation and stuff. So hopefully that translates over. So far, not a lot have. I mean, most of you guys are the originals. I mean, most of you guys were there from like day one, and it hasn't changed a whole lot. We've gotten a few new faces here and there, but I mean, a lot of you guys, I mean, like Woods and Lou and Jacob, when you guys were there for like the first live stream. So, and really, truly, thank you guys for the support from, you know, it means a lot to me that you guys still show up every week. That's awesome. And I mean, I enjoy chatting with you guys. And, you know, and we got some folks that I've met more recently, like Mark, Mr. Great Shot. Of course, me and him have chatted plenty, but hanging out with him more recently and getting to know him better, that's awesome. And of course, meeting Ken here and getting to know him better. You know, this is such a great community. So hopefully we can do more stuff like this music stuff together as well. So anyway, I need to send you more whiskey, Mark. I haven't sent you any, so we need to start that happening. Dude, put all your reviews and tips in one playlist. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, so I do need to break up my playlist, because right now I have like, it's just kind of a mixed bag. So I probably will do like tips videos and list videos in like one playlist, and then just reviews in a different playlist, because right now they're kind of all together. But that's a good idea, Lou. Great stream. Looking forward to more. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate that, man. And of course, check out Ken. As he said earlier, Ken's been streaming about every day. So like when you're waking up, drinking your coffee, Ken is streaming, I promise. And it's different stuff pretty much every day. So it might be Legos one day, another day it's just whiskey, and then another day, who knows, it might be movies. Ken's got different stuff going on all the time. Always interesting subjects that Ken's talking about. The other day we were talking about like the meaning of life. Does God exist? Or, you know, whatever. Evolutionary stuff. We were talking about dark energy and dark matter. Yeah, Ken covers a lot of subjects. We never know what you're going to get into on Scotch Down Under. I got to say, I was just waking up during the that does gotta exist whole talk, and that was a little bit more than I was ready for at 9 a.m. But you know, anyway. Let's see here. I find reviews super helpful, and I know a lot of people to the whiskey world will appreciate those vids. Yeah, I mean, so just so you guys know, that the whiskey reviews are not going anywhere. They will just be less frequent, I guess is probably the better word. And I'm gonna probably just, instead of just covering every single bottle I buy, I will probably just cover bottles that I think are exceptional or like to avoid, just to kind of cut down on the number of reviews I'm doing, because I buy too much probably, and to cover all of them and get all those reviews out, it's not time wise, it doesn't really work. So anything and everything, that's right. Anyway, guys, I do need to shut down and sleep and stuff so I can work tomorrow and be somewhat functional. Cheers to all you guys. You guys have been great. Appreciate you very much for the support tonight. Had a great night. Hopefully you guys, if you didn't listen to anything new, hopefully you at least heard some songs you haven't heard in a while that you enjoyed. So cheers, everybody. Appreciate you. Actually, let me take this off screen. Don't need to keep sharing that. Yeah, so cheers, everybody. Thank you so much again for the support tonight. And you guys are great. Yeah, have a great night. Peace.